Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm back. I'm back. Better than ever. Smelling good, looking good, tasting good. Ah! Motherfucking Hennessy, bro. Motherfucking Hennessy in the in the Wawa bottle, you know what I'm saying? Bottle container. Ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing today, man? Hope you guys are feeling good. That's only loading because it's paused. All right, it's not buffering. All right, relax. We're YouTube premium fucking members. Okay? We're fucking premium members. We get boosted. We get boosted in that list of people that is like, okay, do we limit their thing? Oh, he's premium. Get him up there. Get him up there. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking one of your spots while you're out there buffering. I'm out there succeeding. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be back. I'll be back. Sorry if I look wet. I just got out the shower. Just got out the shower, so I might be a little moist boy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this. Right, this is gonna be my last video on Freeman University. Um, because I think we got the point. I think Cool Kai did a great thing, or I think he did something that was cool, something that people remember. And other than that, yeah, Sherman University bad, Sherman's bad, blah blah blah, whatever. Same shit, different day. You know what I'm saying? Same shit, different day, different paint and coat. You know what I'm saying? Same piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Different person. Um, but I did want to see about this. This was interesting. I think the problem is I actually did watch one interesting video um earlier today. It was about first and first, I had no idea what was it? Damn, DreamCon was mainly a black exclusive, not exclusive, but mainly supposed to be for black people only. I had no fucking idea that was actually a thing. And I forgot the name of the gentleman that was doing the video, but it was a really good video. Now, the reason why I won't watch it, right? Or the reason why I'm not watching it, right? Um, one, just not my type of content. But two, I think something like that is not something that I think I would have to take my time to talk about it because it's one of those things where I don't give really a fuck. Um, really care about how my opinion comes off. You know what I'm saying? Like, say if it's wrong, then I'll just correct my mistake. But it's one of those ones where I think he was talking about the the struggles of. And it wasn't necessarily the struggles. I'm simplifying this a lot, but it's basically the struggles that black people still have to do, and how impressed he was with the fact that they did a black only thing and exclusively and basically kept it black only, but obviously, it is still open to the general public. So for the most part, people can, people would still come, but it's mainly meant to be a safe space for black people, right? To enjoy anime and stuff like that. Because usually in these type of environments, black people aren't necessarily they're welcome, but it's one of those things where it's like you're more characterized than the actual character, right? Oh, you're a black Ichigo guy, rather than saying, oh, you're Ichigo. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna be like you're an Asian Ichigo. Nobody's gonna be like you're an Indian Ichigo. Oh, you're a black Ichigo. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically talking about all of that, and ooh, hold up, there we go. Let me fix that. Okay, we're good. And I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting, and I think we all know, at least if you have an idea, but as a black individual, right? Um, no matter how successful you become, right? You will always be considered less. I'm actually start recording. I didn't realize you will always be considered less, no matter what you do. Even if you're the richest black man in existence or even in the world, you're always going to be the richest black man. You know what I'm saying, rather than the richest man. So it's kind of imagine that, but a lot more in depth. You know what I'm saying? He went into way more detail than that. But like I said, that's not a thing. But it's one of those things where it is interesting because I'll try and keep it short. I think a lot of black people, even black kids, when you grow up, right? You go through you kind of sometimes you tend to struggle with your own color, right? Um, I'm glad that my dad taught me and, actually helped me actually understand, like, just because what you say doesn't come off as wrong, it's still bad, right? Um, so basically what I mean is I remember when I was very young, I was like, oh, they don't want me to act black, right? You don't, that actually does a lot more damage to your own character and your own people than you might realize, because black is being characterized as an angry individual, right? Somebody who's aggressive, you don't make me act black. Like, black is associated with everything negative, which is being angry. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize at the time when I was young that that was actually a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, I've always corrected that. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's basically it. That's, like I said, that's basically it from, from the, like I said, from the video. Like, things very simplified, but it was a really good video. It was a really good video. It was also entertaining as well. It was also entertaining as well. So it's not just one of those things where you're just gonna watch. No, it was actually an entertaining video. You know what I'm saying? Entertaining as in the sense that it was very new age. It wasn't boring. You know what I'm saying? But, I thought it was a pretty good video. I wish I had. I think I could go through my history and show you guys a video, but it was actually pretty good. I think he called it like, I think it was like NiggaCon or something like that. I'm pretty sure if you just search up NiggaCon on YouTube or uh DreamingCon, DreamerCon thing, I don't know what he is. I don't know what the guy's. I don't know if he's. I don't know if he's Nigerian. I don't know. Sounds Nigerian. I don't fucking know. But he's is like that. You'll see it. But it was like a 30 something minute video. Good video, entertaining to watch. But nonetheless, I want to get into this because I thought it was very interesting. So one thing I noticed about because I think we even seen a lot of him on what's the name? First thing, I didn't know he got expelled, and then two, um, sure, baby, he was definitely treating this as a from what I got from it, he was definitely treating this shit as like, this shit is just cakewalk to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be over the top. If anybody's gonna know about me, if anything's gonna happen at this thing, everybody's gonna know about me, and I'm gonna be the first person to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna watch this. We're gonna see, and then from there we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's this gent right here, Omazi. Omazi. Let's see.
I'm too old to go to university, but I will be applying to Streamer University. My old at your big age, 24, going to university. Application sent.
We just watched a star break
Sorry.
out right in front of our very own eyes at Stream University, and his name was Suburb Baby. During one of his mini auditions, he told Kai Cenat that he didn't need Streamer University to prove that he was talented. He told him that, hey, I could use it in order to put these talents on the main stage.
If I don't get a Streamer University, the problem is just like I feel like I don't get the exposure that I need to showcase my talent for real. You feel me? I feel like that's the little boost I need to get me to that next level.
And just a few days later, not only did he become MVP of the event,
the MVP award goes to Suburb Baby.
but he's also become one of the biggest streamers and success stories from Streamer University. And I think he has a long career ahead of him in content creation, but it didn't happen by accident. Once you look at his journey and where he came from, you know it's not luck. You know it's hard work, dedication, perseverance, and a bunch of witty and comedy moments along the way.
Oh, we got 101K niggas in the chat. Lame ass niggas watching me do nothing but bullshit. Man, if you don't get a fucking job, I'm over here committing crimes. You niggas watching me getting inspired. What's wrong with the world these days?
If you're new to this and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's gonna go a long
These days.
If you're new to this and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's gonna go a long way for the channel. Help me become the MVP of commentary YouTube by becoming a subscriber. Soon we're gonna be tackling other topics, not just streamer news. So I don't know. This is where you want to be. Now,
Ooh,
video.
interesting.
Baby had some sort of
Interesting.
during Stream University.
Hey, hope the best for you, man.
Be belittling to what actually happened. He didn't just receive something that was temporary or for the moment. He actually had viewers leave the main broadcast and choose to watch him instead. He was pulling over 47,000 live viewers more than Stable Ronaldo, who is an already established.
Who the fuck? Oh, okay, that's that guy.
Who is now part of the Core Boys and is a pretty big name in the
Damn, what the fuck am I doing?
More than twice.
Sorry about that, guys.
FaZe, who is now.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Bro, one thing I do want to say, this is what I was talking about right here. This is a perfect example of one of those situations where it's like, You're either going, hold up. Y'all got into my pocket somehow. Goddamn bastard. All right. But this is one of those examples. I forgot when I said it, but this is one of those examples right there where I was saying, are you capable of doing too much or too little? Right? That's talented. You know what I'm saying? I think that is only difficult to achieve if you're not talented. Um, and that is a good example right there of, even that right there. He really proved it. He proved the shit. You know what I'm saying? He proved the shit. That's impressive. You know what I'm saying? That's impressive. You know what I'm saying? And and I say that because, like I said, when you look at that number difference, right? Look at that number difference. You could say the average is about 50 to 40,000, right? That's just me doing nothing math, right? That's me doing nothing math in my head. Just assuming, right? When you do that, look how huge that gap is. Look how huge that gap is from these top dudes, right? That's fucking massive. She's actually gotten a small portion of these people or some of these people to join in. Like that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And I think like he found that balance, you know what I'm saying? He definitely found that balance. You know what I'm saying? Um the thing is, right? One thing I do want to, I don't know how close he is with Kai. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how close he is with Kai. But after seeing Streamer University and seeing how it was, it seems like people could do certain things to Kai that I did not expect. You know what I'm saying? But with reason, of course. You know what I'm saying? With reason, of course. Damn, do I remember anything that Sir did that was kind of like aggressive? You know what I'm saying? I don't remember exactly what a thing he did where I was like, okay, okay. You only doing that because you either know Kai or you just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know where I'm really going with this. I don't know where I'm really going with this. But nonetheless, I think Sir Baby, I think he just found that nice balance because, like he said, he's talented. So, he's just gonna make people laugh. He's gonna make people cry. He's gonna make people get angry. He's gonna send out those
Core
emotions.
voice and is a pretty big name in the streaming industry. He had more than twice the viewers of established names like Rakai and Lacey, 4 times as many viewers as Your Rage. The only person that he was underneath was Kai Cenat, who was streaming from a different POV and is Kai Cenat. All these people are established creators that have been in the game for years and had built established communities before they got into streaming university. Literally, we're sitting on a cushion of thousands of people. And the whole time, Suburb Baby was outperforming them while having a significantly less notable streaming
One thing I
fan
want to see
base and
is
face card. And the peak of it all was a very impressive point, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that that's the most impressive part of it. He averaged more than 42,000 live viewers across 73 hours of streaming. This shows that the audience wasn't arriving for some sort of viral moment. They were arriving because they knew that he was consistently going to put out good quality content. The 3.11 million hours watched over the course of 5 days is nearly 10 times as much as he did in 2025. And when you look at his 2025 numbers compared to just that week in 2020,
it's funny that he's saying that because I'm literally looking at his stats right now.
26. Brother, this is a success story worth talking about.
Oh
And so
shit.
Streamer
What was
University
the
being a platform in which streamers were supposed to introduce themselves to the world, Summer Baby
and
became pretty much the second biggest attraction on campus. The only thing that rivaled him was the
bro, and another thing is, bro is pumping out content left and fucking right. Left and right content, 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 content. In fact, it's so much I don't even know if I can even go to bros. I don't even know if I can go to. I don't even know if I can go to 5 years ago. Okay.
mainstay Kai Cenat, the head of the snake. And this is where I think a lot of people get confused. The numbers make it look like it was some sort of overnight success, but Suburb Baby has built an audience of 1.5 million YouTube subscribers before getting into streaming. And so you would think to yourself, well, oh, Omar, he was an already established content creator, so the translation of the audience.
Surprisingly, if you actually look at bro's stats, his subscribers actually don't equal out to what his viewer count is. Um, so that almost means nothing. 25,000 videos? What the fuck? Holy shit. I didn't even realize bro posted 25,000 videos in a span of 5 years. At least that's the oldest video that I could see of him. Bro, that's fucking crazy. Even with streaming every day, that is fucking wild. Holy shit. Bro, impressive. And look, this is what I'm talking about. Bro's just dropping, 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 dropping. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Look at that, man. Just fucking content every day. Holy shit. I didn't realize a lot of people didn't like this guy. At least that's the thing that I got. I was looking at a lot of things and like apparently a lot of people don't like him. I can see why people in the comments was like, "Oh, he doing too much."
Isn't really a big deal. But what if I told you just months earlier he was ready to quit content because it wasn't working for him?
I'm officially done making content. Some people might, not be happy because I'm someone they watch on a daily, but man, I've been thinking about this for a while, and let me just give you the reasons I want to stop and not just tell you why I want to stop. I've made well over 5, 6, 7,000 videos, and man, I just genuinely don't feel like the content is what it needs to be, and I don't feel like it'll really ever get to what it needs to be. That's just how I feel.
Now, I would have to acknowledge that Suburb Baby wasn't some sort of unknown streamer going into Streamer University.
Correct.
He'd been making content for the past 5 to 6 years and built an audience on all social media platforms. Not did he just build the YouTube channel, but he also had the TikTok, he had the Instagram, and he had a foundation of comedy sketches that was different than the live streams. You've probably seen it before.
You're a woman, bro. I don't care how many times you do that to me. I'm not gonna touch you back, bro. I'm a man, that should be wrong. What I tell you about that shit? Last time was your last time doing that bullshit without the consequences. Now you're going to jail, and I'm not bailing you out this time.
And when he dropped his video
I'm not
just a
bailing you out
couple
this
months
time.
ago, talking
Exactly
about
what he
how
gonna do.
content creation, I immediately diagnosed what I felt like was the problem.
It was just times when I'll be making these skits and these series, and I'm like, damn, like the amount of stress I'm going through and like the rate I'm putting this content out at is genuinely like giving a toll on me mentally. And like I genuinely feel like I'll never be able to get to where I really want to be with my.
Bro, I understand where bro's coming from. I'm gonna be honest, right? Right. I actually understand where bro's coming from. Not to that highest, not to the degree that he's at, right? As like I said, he's been established, right? I don't know if I've said it before, but yes, I actually have a job. In fact, I'm actually transitioning to a new job this August 4th. Um, and before I even got on call, I'm glad I actually didn't start streaming. I'm glad I actually didn't start streaming the time that I did because I didn't realize I was going to get called today about getting my actual packet. Like I said, I've already been hired, but they actually just sent me like the official dates and stuff like that, all the packet information like that. And um, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason I'm going to be honest with you, there's two reasons, right? But there's a main reason why I only have live streams, right? There's actually a reason why I only have live streams and I only have one video, right? One, I like playing my game, right? I enjoy playing my game. That is a moment for me of to escape reality and a form of and just something that keeps me sane, right? It keeps me sane. And then the second one is what is it? The second one is um the fact that I have a job. You know what I'm saying? The fact that I have a job, you know what I'm saying? The job, even now that I have this job, my time is probably going to be shortened even more, right? Because I'm going to be on the travel, right? I'm actually going to buy a new laptop for this so I can still stream. I will be out for a week. Um, I will be out for a week to actually go and to go for my job. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get me a hotel and everything. So I have to, get everything set up for that. But I these are the one few reasons why, I haven't posted any other videos. And the real main factor is because I know, right? I know that for how I am, right? I like doing certain things in my videos, right? Of course, I can go back through my streams, um, add all those videos for my streams and then just cut them in segments about 20 minutes and just call it a fucking day, right? And call it a fucking day, right? Um, Obviously over time, will I get faster at that? But if I'm going to be honest, that's a little bit more, that's easier said than done. It's definitely easier said than done, right? Hell, even now, right? I have to figure out, I have to rent a car because I got to drive to that place out there. Now, I think my job's going to get me a car, but I have to rent everything out and and then from there they'll get me something. Then I don't know. I got to figure out. I got to get more information from them to figure it out. But I have to make there's quite a few moves that I have to make, right? It's quite a few moves that I have to make even now, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm only telling you this because when I hear a lot about, or when I see a lot of content creation, right? It's difficult to see if somebody even has an actual job, right? You know, you see a lot of content creators, even ones that are just small, may not have really many viewers or anything like that. You may see that and you're like, how the fuck are you getting through life with no kind of job? You stream every day, 7, 10 hours a day. How are you able to do that, right? Um, it definitely isn't as difficult as you might think, but it can be quite taxing, right? So, and only taxing because it's something that you want to, obviously you want it to be successful. You want something to be successful, right? So when I say that is there has been a few times where I'm like, man, I don't want to stream, right? I don't want to stream, not because I'm bored, because I'm like, I haven't had any time to dedicate myself to playing my game, right? And that can be a problem because you're like, well, a game is something that you can know that you could just toss aside. It's a fucking game. You're a grown ass man, you know what I'm saying? Just stop fucking playing the game. Maybe, maybe, but I told you I enjoy the game. It's a form of escapism, and that's something that I use to de-stress and do I have to? Can I go a whole week, for example, me going to this thing, right? Me going to this location, do I have to? Do I have to? Do I have to? Like, do I need to play my game when I go out there? No. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get me a nice little computer, a nice little laptop, something that I can use, um, something I could do, right? The reason I haven't done too much is because these past few months, it's been progressively, it's been something that's definitely more, it's been something that is like starting to become a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to become a lot. And I think the reason I'm just kind of going at this pace is because I need to figure out how to add these things into my another thing, right? Um, so what I mean by that is just simply making videos, right? Editing videos and actually posting them, right? Two different things. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So could I actually do all this? Absolutely. I can. I'm going to be honest with you. I guys I could do anything. You know what I'm saying? But I've realized that I'm starting to strip more of those things that I enjoy within myself than. Let me start using this. Sorry. I'm starting to strip a lot of my free time and making it actual work related, not even just for the job, but even not even just for streaming, but just in general. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I eventually want to move out. You know what I'm saying? I love my parents to death. You know what I'm saying? I can live with my parents for as long as I fucking wanted to. You know what I'm saying? As long as I'm handling my responsibilities, which is something I already do. But getting to that stage where my time is starting to mend into their time. And I'm like, I specifically moved downstairs to interact with them less, not because I hate them or because I dislike them or I need to, oh my God, he's a fucking family. No, it's just one of those things where I'm ready to move on to that next step in my life to to kind of start figuring things out and really start really narrowing down, start narrowing down things, really taking affirmative action on certain things, you know what I'm saying? Because I live with my parents, right? And it's always a nice thing, but it's difficult to it's difficult to create responsibility when there is no responsibility needed, you know what I'm saying? And simply what I mean by that, I think this kind of went onto a little tangent, but what I mean by that is, um, you know, obviously help pay with bills and stuff like that, help do all that, right? But there's still something in me where I feel like I need to do more. You know what I'm saying? I need to do more, right? And I think that is because of the growth that I'm going at, you know what I'm saying? The growth that I'm going at. And I mean that by, you know what I'm saying? I mean that in the sense that, you know, like you said, things are going well for me, right? Things are going extremely well for me. And that is scary, but it's also one of the best feelings, right? Because all this work and dedication that I put into my life and actually becoming the person I am today, it wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? And it still isn't easy. It still isn't easy. There is a lot of headache that I have to go through sometimes, not because not because I'm required to do it, but because it's like, I see things better for myself, you know what I'm saying? And I still struggle with that small bit in me that's like you're blaming this on something like my job, you know what I'm saying? It took a lot of will within me to literally go to my boss, sit down and tell him, hey, my job is offering me this. Can you guys counter that? You know what I'm saying? You know how much, and I fucking despise my job, right? I fucking despise it. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. Been working there for damn near 4 years now. Not very long, but that's for I guess people in my generation. That's a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's a actual skill, but there just was no growth within that company. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And there were times that I tried to, to like take affirmative action. I tried, you know what I'm saying? But at a point, it feels like, man, if I'm bending over this much for my fucking job, bro, I should just put that time and dedication to something else, you know what I'm saying? But I still let that job aspect control me, you know what I'm saying? I still let that job aspect control me. And I think the job aspect controls a lot of us, right? It controls a lot of what we do because a job, when you have a job, it is equal to success, right? You, somebody that works a 9 to 5 compared to somebody who's actively doing this every day that has no viewers is always going to be looked above as this person, right? Um, because that's what a job is associated with. A job is, it is something that has always been like, hey, you need a job. You need to get a job. If you don't get a job, this, and that. You know what I'm saying? But I think the problem is, right? So for those people that may not have jobs, right? I think what you really need to do is if you don't want a job, you need to find and create things where maybe that is not necessarily something that is, something that is talked about, right? It's always going to come up. It's always going to come up because, money is money. Money is required for a lot of things, especially if you're not in the most financials, if you're not in the best financial state, right? So I say that because what is it? When you damn, I completely forgot my point, right? Damn, I forgot it. Damn, I crazy. It completely faded. It completely faded just like that. But oh, yo, like I said, if you wanted to create responsibility or you wanted to do the same, you have to create responsibility around your household, right? Especially if you don't have a job. That is a little bit easier said than done, right? And I say that in the sense is because simply taking out the trash and cleaning up after yourself is not enough, right? That is not enough. And it will never be enough, no matter how much you do. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but personal experience, sometimes that is not enough, right? But I think, and sometimes there is going to be times where things are unsaid, right? So let me get into this, right? Like I said, my first ever job, I started off at McDonald's, right? I started off at McDonald's, and surprisingly, I worked at that job for 3 years. I think I started off when I was 13, was fucking 13, working, right? Basically been working my whole life, I'm gonna be honest with you. There maybe like if I had to add up everything in total, maybe about 2 years, three-ish of unaccounted time of actually me just not having a job at all. You know what I'm saying? Because not because I couldn't, but because I quit or I left that job. So when I was at McDonald's, right, I only left that job because I had a little falling out with my boss, right? I think it was one of those situations where it was definitely my fault, but it was also the boss's fault, right? Because he let whatever things was happening to him in life get to him, right? And the young person in me was, was not having any of that talk back, you know what I'm saying? I already felt like I wasn't respected at that job, if I'm gonna be honest. I used to get made fun of a lot. I used to get laughed at a lot. Um, so obviously the young person in me would lash out a lot of the times, not like cuss or anything like that, but I just wouldn't listen. I just wasn't really, I was like, I'm just not taking any of the punches, but it wasn't in the sense where it's like, I'm just blocking him. I'm just like, nah, you throw 12 at me, I'm gonna throw 12 back at you. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big part. That was a big part of it, right? And I look back at it and I'm like, damn, I wish I could apologize to a lot of those people, that I rightfully, that not rightfully wrong, but that I, disrespected in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Because it just wasn't called for, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they also combated with me, with adults, you know what I'm saying? It was a bad breeding environment, you know what I'm saying? It was a bad breeding environment. But how I ended up leaving that job is that, me and my one boy was talking and um the guy was already like, "What the fuck are you?" He was like, "Not what the fuck, my bad. Whoa." He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" or stuff like that. He was already on a very thin rope that day. It was so long ago, so I apologize if I get everything, but I want to bring light into what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? What I did and what he also did as well. You know what I'm saying? Without painting him as a negative individual. Um, Oh, what happened was I wanted to do something with like generators and using the oil because I'm like they get rid of a lot of that fucking oil there. It's just a fucking waste. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to use that. You know what I'm saying? And when he said that, I was a little hurt. You know what I'm saying? I was a little hurt and like why? Why can I use this oil? It's like well, we just had business. I just can't let you do that. You know what I'm saying? Because like you could resell the oil. Okay, I understand. Um, I understand that's probably why you don't hear a lot of companies being like, hey, you know, like if you want to, we're throwing out equipment, you can have it. There's probably policies in place for you to put in a request to take some of that equipment, but for the most part, you know, it's not necessarily something that is said. You know what I'm saying? Um, so when that was done, you know what I'm saying, like it already put a like negative thing in my mouth, especially how it was said. You know what I'm saying? And tried to approach it with the most respect as I could. You know what I'm saying? So at the day, I was already a little heated. You know what I'm saying? Um, And then, then there was also a few other things that led up to it. Damn, I wish I could fucking remember. But you know what I'm saying? I think, one I think I did something and then he was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Move out the way," or something like that. He pushed me, or not pushed me. He like, did the whole like, scooch on the side. It was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, whoa, I don't know where this thing come from. So I completely blocked it off, right? I completely blocked it off. I locked out, went to young guy mode, right? And then me and my boy was talking, and it was very slow. It was very slow. We haven't gotten any customers for like an hour, right? Um, so I think when we did get a customer, right, I put on the patties because I was on the grill at the time. I put on the patties, closed it. I was standing like this, and I remember Lucy like being like this, right? And what? He's like, what's with the attitude? What's with the attitude? I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and he's like, get cooking the birds. I'm like, they're already on. You know what I'm saying? I'm already on. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, both of our voices, we weren't elevated, but we were definitely both being sassy, I guess you could say. Um, and I'm like, all right, man. He's like, clock out. You're done. Like, you're done. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you told me to do this, and I did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe I combated a little bit. I'm like, so I called my parents. Boom. Parents end up coming. They end up having to talk. He's like, so what's the deal? What's the deal? Like, what did he do wrong? He was like, he's just doing everything wrong. It was like, but that doesn't expect him saying what he was doing wrong. He was like, and then my dad remember asking, he's like, you seem intense today. He's like, you all right? He's like, yeah, nah, just situation with me and my wife. So he's like, so that's what it is. You're putting that anger out on my job. He's like, I understand you're having issues, but he's like, you can't be putting that on a child. You know what I'm saying? He is young, and I will end up correcting that thing. He's like, no, he's like, no, it's just the problem. He's like, he was just being a problem. Like, and he's like, but what was he actually doing, right? Now I explained to my parents why he was there. I'm like, I was just doing this right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, did I have a little thing? But I was like, I was upset. I was upset from what was said and how it was said. He was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? So even he agreed to what I was saying at the time, that it was just like, and and then he even said, he was like, I did overreact. You know what I'm saying? I did overreact a lot. So that was that. I think that's important because that's the origin story, right, of me starting to work, right? So that was it, right? So then after that, Didn't have a job for a very long time. And then, after maybe like maybe like 2, 3-ish months or something like that. I forgot what the time period was. Started getting things from mom. Hey, it's time to start working and stuff like that. And then, my dad's like, hey, you got to find something. And then from there, I actually moved into, he's like, I've always liked IT, always liked IT. So what I ended up doing, so my mom ended up saying like, hey, found something at Best Buy, you know what I'm saying? You can become like one of the store people. I say, cool, I would do it. I do want to store things. Boom, became, went there for the interview that day with my cousin. And I remember having an interview with one of the, I think the general manager of the store, like the guy who's actually in control of everything. He was like the top guy for that store, right? Um, and I remember him saying, well, hey, I actually like who you are. You want to actually get the Geek Squad. Um, so this is probably the start of when I started becoming fearless when it came to me doing jobs, right? When it came to me having these situations with jobs, right? There's kind of like that start. So I'm like, really? I'm like, oh wow. Like I said, I went there to go stock shelves and shit like that. I wasn't planning on be like back in the back of the fucking unit. I wasn't going to be a floor guy. I was going to be the guy who stocked the boxes and stuff like that. And I was like, so then it was like, all right, cool. I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm just I'm like asking all the idea I need these certifications. Like, what's the thing? You know what I'm saying? Didn't have any confidence in myself. Gonna be honest with you. Didn't have no fucking confidence. So I ended up leaving that day. I ended up leaving. I started walking out. And, all my aunt, my mom, my grandma, no, just my aunt, my mom, and my dad was there. You know what I'm saying? Because my aunt was there to pick up my cousin because she also had an interview with me that day as well. And she was saying, they was like, oh, how'd it go? I was like, well, yeah, they actually offered me to, work at Geek Squad. And they was like, what? You went there for your job and they offered you a completely different one? I was like, yeah, yeah. And I remember my dad saying, what are you doing? He's like, call him back. He's like, you're good at tech, son. Take it, do it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, you're a very good people person. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, it took me like a little bit. So literally, after like 5, 10 minutes, I forgot how much time we're talking. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll call him. I actually called him. I was like, hey, the actual so and so he offered me the geek class position. I'll take it. Um, I'll try and start shortening things up. So I worked at Geek Squad for 8 months or so, about 8 months to a year. Um, it was good. It was a good time. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled there to fit in. Being the youngest guy there, I struggled to like fit in. I was treated poorly, in the sense that, I like sometimes I feel like I did a lot of things wrong, but I could never really correct those wrongs. You know what I'm saying? I was always trying to figure it out. The one manager, he was nice. You know what I'm saying? I think one time I did last year. I'm like, I ended up lashing out because I'm just like, I let it get to me. I used to be a very calm person at that point. I was very calm. You know what I'm saying? It was rare that I got angry. Um, so cool. Ended up doing that. And you know what I'm saying? And then it was going well. It was going well. Like, first time I started that day, got a tip with another guy, we split it 10-10. Um, and thought it was cool, he gave me the 20, but out of respect, I was like, well, you were with me, you know what I'm saying? You're with me, so here's a 10, and he appreciated that. So I was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? Turns out that guy was kind of a dickhead. He wasn't, I won't say dickhead, he was more of an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Or he's one of those weird guys, you know what I'm saying? Where I think he was hyped to see a black guy. So like, man, we about to relate because he's black, you know what I'm saying? And that could definitely be the case, you know what I'm saying? But but I didn't realize at the time, I didn't really give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, if shit happens, it happens. But if a girl came up, he would always be there. Like I didn't realize he would always hover, you know what I'm saying? He was always hover, like, oh no, hey man, shit, you go take your break, man. I got this shit. I got this shit, you know what I'm saying? Turns out he also had a girlfriend too, but he's just saying like some young dog, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, cool, you know what I'm saying? Surprisingly there, I will say one funny thing is surprisingly there, I got a lot of attention. I got a lot of attention, you know what I'm saying? From a lot of older women. Not too many young girls, but we got definitely some older honeys in that. I was 18 at the time, by the way. Um, um, so yeah, I guess if you add that time frame, that's about right. 3 years at McDonald's, started at 13, left at 16. Already crazy that I was working for 3 years at McDonald's. Wow, man, that's crazy. I always look back at it like, fuck, the time went by. So I was about out for about 2 to 3 months, yeah. So cool, that ends up happening. And I was like, I'm just not making enough, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not making enough, you know. Start hitting that point where I wanted more, you know what I'm saying? I wanted more. So I ended up actually leaving that job and becoming and dang, end up leaving that job and becoming end up becoming a server in Philly at Sugar Factory, right? Um, that job was fucking awful. I mean, it was fucking awful. Don't get me wrong, probably the first place I've ever felt like included, you know what I'm saying? I felt included. I felt like I belonged, you know what I'm saying? It still was a different pace, but I don't never nobody ever like beat me down for it, you know what I'm saying? Nobody ever beat me down for it, you know what I'm saying? And it just felt nice, you know what I'm saying? I just never felt that sense before, you know what I'm saying? Were they more predominantly black there? Yes, they were. Um, Keep this in mind too. I was always the youngest at a lot of these. Like I think the only job that I wasn't the youngest was McDonald's, but I think I was still the youngest by only like a few months. Um, but I was always the youngest person going to these jobs. So ended up going to this one. Only ended up working there for 4 months. Still a long time, but that job was fucking awful. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'd have to Uber every day, man, just losing money. You know, every day hoping that I'm just gonna get a tip, right? And I'm like, fuck, man, you know, I'm just losing a lot of money. But I was making decent money. You know what I'm saying? I was making decent money, but everything was there was just so fucked, man. I'm seeing everybody walk on like $400 in tips. I'm like, bro, how are y'all doing this? You know what I'm saying? How are y'all doing this? Turns out they were just rigging the game. You know, they were just rigging the game. You know what I'm saying? I was the only one there approaching that shit like I guess normal. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers just telling me like, yo, man, slide me something through Cash App. You know what I'm saying? You slide me through Cash App. I go over to the bartender. You know, down like I split them like I split that bar to be like 20, 25, $50, you know what I'm saying? If you get me like this good tip, you know what I'm saying? I get you like 3 bottles, you know what I'm saying? Just dropping dimes in there. I'm like, because I have to ask my uncles in the one day. I'm like, because I worked with my uncles. I'm like, yo, I literally say, how the fuck y'all making all this money, bro? I'm like, I'm out here barely making a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, ain't enough, you know, we just moving different, you know what I'm saying? You know, we just telling them, like, slide us a little bit of extra on the side, you know, we got you on this end. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, shit. I might start doing that myself. In my head, I said I might start doing it myself. Like, nah, that's just not me, bro. I'm just not cut out for that kind of shit. I'm just not cut out for that kind of shit. Um, but same thing. That was another one of those jobs where I got picked on by the boss. You know what I'm saying? I got picked on by the boss. The Best Buy one, I wasn't picked on by the boss. I was more so, like I said, I was kind of treated a little bit lesser than a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I said, I was definitely down. I was definitely played down. Once again, same thing. That job, I was actually the only black person. McDonald's, there was a couple of black kids there. You know what I'm saying? But Geeks, I was the only one that was where I was black, right? I don't think that played anything into account. Maybe it did. I don't know. Talk to a psychologist. I don't fucking know. But that is something to, I think these are things to note. Um, so cool in working there, but I just ended up, I was with my uncle one day and we were driving home. And I'm like, bro, I can't keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have my own car at the time. Didn't have my own car for a very long time. Um, they would go out every night. They would go to the bars and shit like that. I'm like, bro, this shit is ass, bro. This shit is ass, bro. We get like, bro, why are y'all going out every day when we got a whole hour back to get back home to Jersey and y'all trying to stay out till like 2, 3 in the morning? What the fuck are we doing, bro? At a point, I was like, and I sometimes I have to do those days. I'm like, I just can't afford it. I can't afford to hop on this Uber, bro. This shit is too expensive. You know what I'm saying? Uber back and forth from there to Philly, especially at nighttime, bro. That shit was like $70 to $100. So imagine doing that shit a day. What? What? That shit was fucked, man. Holy shit. Probably lost so much money, man. I know I lost a lot of money, man. And I was doing this shit. There was maybe one or two, maybe like out of the week, every week there was maybe like 2 days where I didn't have where I didn't have to take Uber, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I was with the one uncle that I quit the job with. So I'm just like every day, bro. I'm like, so I actually had like another emotional crash out at that job, right? So I remember like boss like seeing something like apparently, one of my customers they said they were waiting for like 10 minutes or something like that, and somebody else had to come do something. But I had to go check on something in the kitchen, I'm saying? They kept me a little bit longer than I tried to go do the thing, and they showed me the video recording. I was like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "You're just fucking done." He's like, "You need to get trained again." I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" Is it like they spilled thing? Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that they spilled? So I was taking care of something in the back, you know what I'm saying? So I was just getting then I just started. Then they do. I'd never do this shit again. It was demoralizing. It was demoralizing. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was trying to talk to the guy. He just started walking out at me, bro. And I'm like, I remember like, yo, talk to me, man. Like, talk to me. Like, you not talk to me, bro. I'd never do that shit. That shit is devastating. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever fucking do that shit, bro. If somebody walk up me while I'm trying to talk to you, and you just trying to take dominance in the conversation, you're not even trying to hear me out. I would never do that shit. I'll punch you in your fucking throat. You do some shit like that. That's how mad I am because I'm thinking about it now because I was vulnerable at the time. You know what I'm saying? I was very vulnerable, and it hurt me. And then saying that kind of emotional built up, it just instant boil of rage. You know what I'm saying? And I remember going over there, and I just remember just my eyes just went bloodshot red, and I just started tearing up. And I was remember telling people like, yo, I'm about to beat his ass, bro. I'm about to knock him out. I'm about to fucking break his neck. You know what I'm saying? I was angry. I was seeing red. You know what I'm saying? And for me, even everybody was like, what the fuck happened? It was like, yo, Rodney never angry. He gets angry. Even my uncle, he came over there. He's like, yo, what? He's like, yo, what the fuck you do to my nephew? Because he never gets mad. You know what I'm saying? He never gets mad. So, end up telling him, right? And I'm like, yo, get him away from me, bro. I'm about to swing on him. I'm about to swing on him, right? And you know what I'm saying? Like then the guy ended up, like thing is like that. I end up going up the top chilling, whatever. So not too long after that, I ended up leaving, you know what I'm saying? Turns out everybody was stealing money from that job, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was stealing money, money that should be going into our checks, you know what I'm saying? But that's why everybody was eating good. I was, technically me and my uncle were the only two. Me and my one uncle that I used to drive home with, we're the only ones that kind of weren't really walking out with anything too big. You know what I'm saying? I struggled, you know what I'm saying? I struggled with that job a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then after that, I was probably out of the job for like 6 months. They just went to a little bit more of a story time than this, but I'll kind of bring it back in this one. So I ended up quitting. I'm like, man, like y'all, I just unprofessional. Y'all unprofessional at the job, man. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all unprofessional. Y'all have no respect. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let everybody get like these weird hands up on everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and it's just like it's just too much. It's just too much. You know what I'm saying? So, texting the guy, he interviewing the thing. He's like, okay, understood. You know what I'm saying? Some of the guys were fucking the girls too. I mean, not some of the guys. Some of the managers definitely fucking or something like that. It was just a fucking breeding environment. You know what I'm saying? Still think those people are amazing, but I'd never hire them. You know what I'm saying? I'd never hire them to be to like work for me. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, they are good people. You know what I'm saying? They did look out for me a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I was out for 6 months. Then ended up and then after that, maybe like I started getting into like this rut because I started running out of money. I started running out of money to the point where it's like you don't realize how much it annoys you when you hear somebody tell somebody that you don't have enough money. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're young, you know what I'm saying? You don't realize, or at least for me, I remember getting down to like my last 2 grand, you know what I'm saying? And I was pretty good at managing my money, but at this time I was already paying bills, I was already paying the internet. And that was it, you know what I'm saying? But that cost that started stacking up monthly. I'm saying. So got down to my 2 grand, and I remember I was getting my hair done with my mom, and this is when my hair started getting it just started dropping off, you know what I'm saying? So hair started dropping off badly. And my mom was like, yeah, you should get it done professionally. And my uncle ends up calling, coincidentally enough, and he got his hair done that day. And I remember my uncle would be like, he was like, yeah, I can go to this girl, like you can get this girl, and she can do that shit for 200. And at the time I wasn't thinking about anything like that. I wasn't thinking anything. And then I remember my mom was like, I remember the guy was like, um, I remember I was telling my uncle like, nah, man. He's like, nah, that's really not that bad. I'm like, my mom really don't, she really don't do bad with my hair. You know what I'm saying? And it is true, still true to this day. She don't do a bad job with my hair. You know what I'm saying? It's just up to me to start maintaining it, like, moisturizing and stuff like that, put oil in it, make sure I protect it against the elements, yada yada yada. So and I didn't realize, but at the time, I'm saying in my head, like, you got the audacity to ask for $200, bro. Make it down on this last two grand, you know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here with that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? So then I remember my mom saying, like, hey, that's a little too much, you know what I'm saying? And I did that whole it's not really that much. Like, mom, you really don't do that bad at my job. It was a problem. Wasn't a problem. Couldn't afford the shit. Couldn't afford that. That was 2 months. That was 2 months of essentially for me for my rent. You know what I'm saying? Paid that was my thing. You know what I'm saying? Paid the internet for everybody, and then maybe occasionally would dabble in some snacks here and there. Um, so then it got to that point where I just like shit was gone. Bank did that last bank transaction, shit was empty. You know what I'm saying? Literally like $2 in that motherfucker, bro. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Then it started getting to that point where it's like, then again, parents started, not like disrespecting anything like that. It's like, you know, and then my dad, ended up finding like the school thing. I went there for like a few months, and then I just started applying to jobs, right? But then again, school started getting to me, man. School started fucking getting to me. 'Cause it was like a free thing, you know what I'm saying? I tell the guy, I'm talking to the guy, I'm asking him questions and stuff like that. He's like, man, I've never been asked these questions before. Like, hey, if you want, I can give you my personal. He's like, I can let you look through my personal book of all my notes, and you can take pictures of whatever pages you want. He's like, nobody's ever asked him like, hey, like, what is the actual personal notes within your own book? If you don't mind me seeing him, he's like, nobody's ever asked me that before. And I'm like, cool, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was very confident when it came to a lot of interviews. The butterflies always kicked in, but once I was in that motherfucker, I was in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter to me. Um, my bad if you keep wondering why I'm doing this. No boogie in there. It's just like got like this little fuzz feeling. It's like a little fuzzy feeling. But the so cool. I ended up doing that. It was like a 3 or 4 month, maybe 6 months of like a thing where it was for me to get my A+ certification, right? A+ certification. Um, but I started struggling after honestly like the first month, right? So I remember the teacher, telling me, hey, Rotten, you're behind a lot of students. I'm like, I'm behind the students. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, everybody's on like lesson, I think there was like 8 or 12 lessons. I don't remember. Somewhere in that bracket. Um, and it's like, and you're still on the first lesson. I'm like, how the fuck are these people on like halfway done? Like, how are they more than halfway done? And we only been doing this shit for a month. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize how shitty of a teacher he was, right? He had a lot of certifications himself, like he had a couple certifications, but I didn't realize how much of a shitty teacher he was, right? So after the second month, right, I'm still not like I'm still like maybe I got to like maybe the third lesson, you know what I'm saying? I see one person get up out of there, you know what I'm saying? I see one person head up out of there, you know what I'm saying? He about to go take the test, cool. And and I remember like every test that I like all the practice tests I would fail. I failed every practice test, just back to back, failing, 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 bro. Shit was getting to me, right? Especially on my first try, right? I would pass it on my second time, but that didn't mean anything to me. That didn't mean to me anything to me because at that point I was like, bro, this shit right here is like, if I can't get it on my first try, I didn't retain the information that I needed to. I didn't properly look over the information like I needed to. So I'm walking through that. I'm looking and I eventually I like go to the food court because it was like in the mall at the time. And I remember calling my dad. I'm like, bro, like this shit getting to me, man. I can't do this, bro. I see people like doing this. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm failing. You know what I'm saying? I'm failing. He's like, well, how are you doing with the real test? I'm like, I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not failing those ones. Um, like when the real test came around, this is all done online, right? All done online, right? Um, it was done on a one of those online courses, but it was in person, right? It was in person. Um, And I'm like, man, this shit getting to me, bro. So I just like let my emotions boil. I'm like, I can't do this, bro. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I'm just tired again. This is another one of those things I have to go through. I'm like, damn, bro, I gotta like this remind me like how shitty I was at school. You know what I'm saying? I did good at school, but I always felt that I got through it because we were nice. Teachers were nice to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I didn't feel like I actually deserved the success that I had when I got out of high school. So schooling in my mind was always a problem, right? So, at that point, I started just applying to just tech jobs, you know what I'm saying? Just left and right, just started applying to tech jobs because I just didn't care anymore, you know what I'm saying? So I started doing the thing, and then I just remember the teacher saying like, he's like, hey students, and I remember his student was like, hey, like what's like the best way for the test? He was like, just just move through all of it, so you remember as soon as the test starts. I'm like, what? Fuck are you talking about? Just blow through this shit. I'm like, that's exact. And then it clicked in my head. I'm like, that's exactly what everybody is um is getting the information. I mean, it's getting faster to me because me, I'm over here reading everything, trying to understand everything, and trying to actually break it down. But these motherfuckers is just clicking through and just failing repeatedly back to back to back just to get finished the fastest and remember that information over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Just to remember the information, just to remember the information faster. I'm like, well, none of you are gonna know. None of you gonna know what you're doing because this is not the point. He's like, just get the certification. I'm like, bro, I don't want just certification. I want to actually know what the fuck I'm doing. That's important. Yeah, it was a few months, and then I got to that point where, like I said, once again, I didn't like I said that was a nice little buffer, but once again, the thing started popping like, hey, maybe you should start looking for a job or something like that. So I remember like one day I was just in the car with my dad, and I was like, I put in this job application. I'm like, if none of these go through after a week, fuck it, I'll just apply. I'll apply anywhere at this point. It don't matter, right? And my dad, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I don't think he said like anything. He was like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do at the end of the day, son. Um, and then literally not too short after, like literally a day after that, bro, I'm telling you, one of the jobs hit me back. The current job that I work at now hit me back. Was like, hey, we like how your resume's looking. Um, Mind you, I've been out for like 6 months. Like I said, I've been out of a job for like 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, maybe like a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Um, Been out, boom, go there, say like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we do the interview, you know what I'm saying? Keep it in mind, you know what I'm saying? Again, we do the interview, you know what I'm saying? Get the interview, go to the interview. And I remember talking to like the recruiter and stuff like that. He's telling me all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Um, I'm like, cool, nice. I'm about to do this job. And then like, like I also tried to apply to Spencer's too. I tried to apply to Spencer's, but that is the least entry level job I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Or at least, that motherfucker seemed like it's difficult to get in for anybody that got a master's degree. I did try and get to Spencer's, you know what I'm saying? They will pick you up for an interview, but the motherfuckers will not hit you back for a second one. Or at least I didn't get hit back for a second one. They said, hey, we regret to inform you, old bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And I remember it going well. They didn't give me any technical question. They were just talking to me as normal. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I asked the dude something simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, where's some places you guys like to go? He's like, yo, nobody's ever asked me that before. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? That shit's just normal. Shit's just normal to me. You know what I'm saying? This is just at this point, those type of questions. And then I remember I said I got this job. Once again, it's like I got lucky because I asked the recruiter, I was like, yo, is there any questions that they're gonna be saying, like they're gonna be asking me that I need to look out for? Um, he was like, yeah, just no IP config all, you know what I'm saying? So I wrote that down, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like these are technical things, like, just like just some very general shit, right? Keep it in mind, never learned that, never learned that at any job or even from the schooling, or at least at that point in the schooling that I was at, I didn't learn IP config all, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to gain that kind of information if I can't find an entry level job, you know what I'm saying, that will teach me? There's no way I'm going to get this, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, in all my resume, I only put like what I did at Best Buy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was obviously going to give you more advanced stuff. So, boom, end up working there. Cool, we do the interview with like 5 people there. They start asking me some general questions, and I just go to the one question where it's just like me and one other person, right? So I remember seeing my one supervisor at the time. A little funny story. I seen my supervisor. My bad. We'll get back to the video because I know I'm a little bit chatting a little bit, but I think it's kind of like an interesting story, right? So I remember seeing he had white hair, right? Just looked like quintessential, like fucking tech guy, bro. Like the tech guy that just like he'll point out anything that I said was wrong. Like telling this boy knew everything, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Not the case, not the case, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Really great guy though, really great guy, right? Um, and then after that, like I said, I got the job, so I ended up working there. I started off, and then once again, the same pattern started popping up where it's just like I started doing shit wrong, bro. I started doing shit wrong, and it's like I think it was because I was doing shit my way. You know what I'm saying? This job didn't really have like a proper procedure, right? It didn't have really have a proper procedure, right? Um, I remember like the first week, after I started doing everything, they let me by myself, and I was like on one of the busiest days, and I just kept breaking shit, man. I kept breaking everything, bro. Just shit was breaking, you know what I'm saying? I could hear people on the phone like, fuck, it's Rodney on the phone. I'm like, fuck, man. Shit started getting to me, you know what I'm saying? Shit started getting to me, you know what I'm saying? Because again, it was like that same pattern that popped up where it's like, again, and then also too, I was the youngest and only black guy there. Um, and I'm like, again, it's just like, bro, this like just another point where it's like I'm a failure. I'm a fucking failure, bro. I've been just nothing but L's throughout my whole life, you know what I'm saying? In terms of like, and the worst part is the reason I felt this way is because throughout my life, people have always said, you're great for success. Every place I went to, you're definitely capable of that thing that you're achieving, you know what I'm saying? And I've talked to people like, is this something that gets said to you? I'm like, not really, no. I don't know. Nobody really say anything like that to me. I'm like, bro, I don't know what it is, bro. That shit got to me, man. That shit was getting to me. I felt like I wasn't achieving that success, right? Even when I left that job, even when left that job at Best Buy, I went there one day and I seen a couple people there that was there. I was like, hey, man, I was hoping you, I was like, hey, I hope you're doing something big outside. It turns out it wasn't even working at the point. Yeah, hey, this is the guy that's going to do big things. I'm like, bro, what? Like, again, bro, what do y'all see me? I don't know what the fuck y'all see me, bro. Straight failure. Straight failure, bro. So then at a point, it took me a little bit. I started getting better at things, started doing things a little bit more consistently, started putting myself in those things, where I wanted to do everything, you know what I'm saying? Still was messing up here and there. And I don't know why. I still don't know why. I don't know if it's because I wasn't starting doing things my own, but I was missing small shit. You know what I'm saying? I was missing small shit. And I was told by people that I'm like, oh, you're a good worker. I don't know why the fuck my camera keep doing that. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me check this really quick. Hmm. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. I'll figure it out. But once again, people are like, ah, you're a good worker, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, for like the first 3 months, bro, for the first 3 months, I was the most hated person in that job, you know what I'm saying? People fucking despise me, man. Just constantly back to and forth, getting told by people like, he don't know what the fuck he's doing. Somebody needs to help him, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't the case. Like I was helping people, but I think it's just, I've already had that negative rep, you know what I'm saying? I had that negative rep, I was able to help people out. But when it came to like those finer problems, those finer problems were much bigger, and I just didn't have the proper training on those things. So, boom, I do. I do that, and bro, I'm telling you, it's like again, like I said, so then things started going better, started going good, started going good, and then after that, over time, like any job, maybe after like the first 2 years, maybe a year or so, I started getting to that point where it's like, all right, here we go, here we go. I was also doing 2 to 10 at that point too, right? I was doing 2 to 10. Met some really cool dude, um, helped me through a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? Helped me through a lot of it, and then, after that. uh, I started to continue progressing properly, and then like I said, eventually I started getting to that point. I'm like, bro, this shit ain't for me, bro. This shit ain't for me. I've been saying that for two years, bro, 2 to 3 years, bro, basically. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I'm like, how's the other guy? Like the other guy, he didn't have any technical knowledge like I did, right? He didn't have any technical knowledge like I did. He didn't really have a technical background at all. Um, And I was like, man, I was so hyped. I'm like, man, I got to this job because I'm special, bro. I'm special. Nobody had it like I did. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had it like I did. Then when you hear about that, I'm like, he didn't even have no technical knowledge, and he still got into it. But keep in mind, I said I remember telling my dad like, and this is also another start of those things where it's just like a start of something of me doing like great things. I remember telling my dad like, I'm like, because I remember saying, I don't need no degree to get no job. I don't need no degree to get no job. I'm going to keep progressing in life without no fucking degree, and I'm going to get better and better. And I'm going to prove to people that you don't need no shit to achieve to achieve that high success, right? Um, so boom, got that, and like I said, just started tapering off. You know what I'm saying? Started doing things, but still fucking up on these small things. You know what I'm saying? Then it started getting to the point where I was being like lazy. You know what I'm saying? I was being I was being lazy when it came to certain things. Um, Stop wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just stop wanting to do these things. I'm like, bro. So that continued for me for that entire time that I was working. Then one guy left, and then another guy left. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I already said, oh man, after the first guy leave, I'm going to start. And I remember telling myself, I'll never work like that other guy. I'll never be here for 3 years. That's fucking crazy to be in this fucking job for 3 years. I won't do that shit. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then I remember doing a lot through that job, and I just remember, like I said, got to the point where I think one of my bosses called my supervisor called me, and I think it was intentional. It was intentional because it made, like I said, of like this specific timing. It never happened before until this one point. But I remember my supervisor called me like, man, like he was like, man, Ronnie just keeps fucking up. He was like, man, he's a good kid, but he just keeps fucking up. Like he just is not doing anything right, you know what I'm saying? And it's fucking all of us over. Shit broke me down, bro. Shit broke me down. Because, like I said, I always thought I was doing everything okay, you know what I'm saying? But it turns out they were fixing a lot of my problems outside, and I'm like, damn, ain't nobody tell me, bro, ain't nobody tell me. This is gonna get into another thing, right? And like, ain't nobody tell me, right? And I've always been open, like, hey, just kind of let me know if I'm doing anything wrong, because I felt like I was doing shit wrong, but I just could never prove it. I could never prove it. They're like, I don't know why you keep saying that, like you're doing everything fine. I'm like, all right, man, all right. So he just went off, just going off. You know what I'm saying? It was like something like it was supposed to be like a butt dial. Um, and then I just remember just hearing and listening, and it was supposed to be all as if he was talking to his wife, but I'm pretty sure it was just me. So he said that, and I'm like, damn, like I wish you told me about that. I'm like, it seemed like y'all let a lot of this shit boil, and nobody told me no shit about this. Like I said, at this point, I considered them friends, right? Didn't really have many friends at the time. Considered them friends, or at least considered this guy a friend. Um, and I think that was kind of like this taper of me just kind of like locking myself even more, like blocking myself off even more, like just not for me, bro. And then, like I said, once again, didn't really, I got better, but once again, it was kind of like still like the same pattern, just like doing 80% right, 20% wrong. You know what I'm saying? But that 20% wrong was just like, which just wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? Um, or that was more than the 80%. So then, I started doing these things, I started getting to these things, and then, eventually that guy left. I ended up talking to him, but we just didn't talk as much anymore. You know what I'm saying? We didn't talk as much anymore. He tried to occasionally talk to me. He apologized. I'm like, be honest, like, man, that shit hurt me. I mean, that shit hurt me because y'all all let the shit boil up. Um, y'all let the shit boil up, and now y'all are angry at me for some shit that I could have corrected. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, locked myself off, call it a day. Then from there, continue moving on. Like I said, just started once again, started taping off even more. Then the other guy, the first guy that I was with, then our friendship started dwindling a little bit. It wasn't because of any of our arguments, but it was because of, like I said, I think it was just time and just me fucking up, and it was just like once again, just not saying anything about it, just kind of dealing with it, just like, what I'm saying. But I didn't know, you know what I'm saying. So then that starts happening, you know what I'm saying? And then another guy came who I thought was very similar to me, who I thought was very similar to me. Um, like I said, I always considered the guys friends, um, but they weren't enough like me to where I could accept that fully, you know what I'm saying? And it's not their fault, you know what I'm saying? It's not their fault. I think it's just me, you know what I'm saying? I always struggle finding people that fit with me, you know what I'm saying? Fit my exact thing, you know what I'm saying? Um, So I thought that was the actual guy who came through the job. We were cool, we were cool, we were chatting. And I forgot, I remember I did one time. I tried to invite myself, learned again, don't invite yourself to something that you're not invited to. You know what I'm saying? He's saying his whole bunch of friends was like him and his friends and his family members were going out to like an area. And I remember inviting myself to that situation, like, ooh, that shit was we actually talked about it a while, but we actually talked about it after a while. And I remember, and we just joking about it, like, "Ooh, that was bad." Like, "Hey, man, if you want to learn how to invite yourself, I'm the guy." Um, so I remember inviting myself to it. Right, there wasn't anything bad, but I remember like, "Ooh, I remember even at the time, I was like, oh, that's a problem, right? But I only invited myself because I'm like, oh, this guy actually does shit that I kind of want to do, you know what I'm saying? But they only knew him for like maybe like a week or a month after that, bro. It was fucking crazy, you know what I'm saying? Fucking crazy. So cool, ended up doing that. Like I said, as time progressed on and on, you know what I'm saying? Cool, as time started moving on. And then after that, like I said, just wasn't getting any better for me. I was just kind of being stagnant, and then we got a new boss, and then new procedures just came in play. Everybody was kind of keeping up. I was the only one that wasn't keeping up because I was kind of doing shit my own way. I couldn't figure out how everybody was getting information. You know what I'm saying? I could like, I could explain. Then I started becoming late, bro. I was just like, it was just a constant downhill, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, bro? Put a lot of this job in, like, put a lot of this job as like, this is who I am, right? So it's like, all right, man, it just keeps falling off the table and off around, but and then, like I said, now when I consider, why I consider these guys friends, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, then I met another guy. He was cool. We actually had a lot of the same traits, but it just wasn't somebody that I couldn't fully accept. I think it's because I think it's my fault. Well, I think it's my fault. It's my fault. Like I said, always I think I've always needed a certain hit for me, but I just could never find that hit for that person. You know what I'm saying? Um, so the other guy, he said something where it's like, it's like, oh yeah, you my coworker boy. I got outside friends and I got the coworker friends. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I took that personally. You know what I'm saying? I took that personally because I'm like, oh shit, I always thought we was cool. I always thought we was cool. You know what I'm saying? Turns out he just separated me from somebody. That's why we never really hung outside of work. You know what I'm saying? And I remember him stating one time, like, I'm like, he's like, well, I always thought the person, that because I used to try and text him, I used to try and text him, trying to engage with him a little bit more, see what it is. But I think he's always just I think he always kept that distance properly. And I never tried to force anything, but I did try. I said I did try. So after that, I'm like, all right, you know what? But then like not too long, this is like a while. This has been a while, maybe like a year or two in. He said like, yeah, yeah, you my coworker boy. I think at the time he did knew what he said was kind of like, oof, I shouldn't have said that. But I was like, oh, and I mean, I just accepted it. At that point, like I said, I finally accepted it. I'm like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So then, like I said, another situation where something happened where, I just was doing shit wrong and nobody was telling me I was doing anything wrong, bro. Even though I was asking people like, hey, it's like, so I'm like, yo, hey, like they just been corrected on my things. I'm like, bro, I'm like, here we go again. So I locked myself out for like 3 4 months, bro. I just ain't talking to nobody. I couldn't talk to nobody, bro. I was just on this silent streak, like, bro. Even now moving to this job, I'm like, I just don't want no friends, bro. This friend shit when it comes to jobs. This shit is not strictly coworkers, bro. Strictly coworkers. This shit is this friend shit that we doing. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep doing this shit, bro. It's fucking up. It's fucking up my flow and it's fucking up my mentality. Um, um, and I started locking myself out. Start moving through that, bro. Like I said, once again, just continue to still failing and not even realize I'm failing, bro. I still kept going, I still kept going. And eventually, I kept saying, I'm gonna get this job, bro. I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna get a job. Just saying shit, just not doing anything, bro. Just saying shit and just not doing anything. And it wasted so much time. So then, that's where we are now. Um, and then not too long ago, that's when I started, the whole streaming thing, because I started getting to that rut again where it's like, I don't know, I need to do something that makes me happy getting outside of work. You know what I'm saying? I need to do something that makes me happy. Um, uh, and I'm like, and I just started doing the streaming things. I just did the game, I was even nervous, got better over time, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, you know what I'm saying? Then that's where we are from now. And then we're up to this point, you know what I'm saying? We're up to this point, you know what I'm saying? And this is kind of the first point where things started going right. You know what I'm saying? Things started going right, you know what I'm saying? Started succeeding, started doing better, started getting better at those things at the job, you know what I'm saying? Still doing things wrong, by the way. Still fucking shit up. There was like a big thing with us doing tickets and stuff. I wasn't doing if you don't know, I was working as a help desk technician, support specialist. Um and I just didn't like put tickets in. I'm like, this shit is ass, you know what I'm saying? Even my boss, he even mentioned, he's like, you take the most calls out of everybody. He's like, your tickets should be in the fucking, in the fucking thing, right? I mean, it should be in the, should be in the hundreds. You know what I'm saying? You should have twice as many, if not more than that, than everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll fix it. This is just a little one side thing. I said I'll fix it, and then we do stuff, and then like as like there like the one day that I felt like I was doing a lot, never really had to talk, and then it's like I was averaging so little. I was only doing like 20 tickets a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why was I even putting in tickets? Like, what the fuck ticket was I even putting in? You know what I'm saying? I think it was just the ones that were assigned to me or that I just made for somebody and then was end up closing. Compared to everybody, like I'm not just like behind by like okay, you just the least. No, I'm like behind by like 30 to 50 tickets on everybody, even people that are doing less than me, like that has less call values. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Other coworkers have like damn near like two, having like close to like 200, bro. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I'm like, how are y'all picking up this many shit? You know what I'm saying? And me, I was never, once again, this is like this is mostly my fault. I wasn't a big fan of, you know what I'm saying? If I were to do, even the boss, even he kind of admitted to, he was like, I see that you tend to have a lot of tickets that take a long time, right? Cool. You know what I'm saying? Me, I wasn't really a big fan of just putting in a ticket just to put in a ticket, bro. I wanted my shit to actually mean something, you know what I'm saying? I didn't give a fuck about value. You know what I'm saying? I wanted you to know that I did this one thing and this shit equaled out to a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's what my mindset was, right? It wasn't the proper mindset and shouldn't have been the proper mindset. Um, but everybody's making a ticket after every single call, after everything. I'm like, that's just not me, you know what I'm saying? But I tried to get better over time with it. And I still was struggling. I still wasn't doing it, you know what I'm saying? Then we had the one time where I was doing everything good. And he tells me like, he's like, nah, you still hit the same amount of tickets that you did. He's like, now you just only hit 60. Like, bro, what? How did I hit the exact? I even talking about one coworker. He's like, oh no, I've been seeing you putting in a lot of tickets. You know what I'm saying? I had to know. I'm like, he's like, no, I definitely been seeing you putting in more. So I'm like, bro, I don't know, bro. How did I get the same amount of tickets that I got from last month? You know what I'm saying? From last month, and then 1 month I did know that I did a lot, didn't even get talked about. So it's like, again, just failure, 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 failure. Hearing everybody that I work with, like hearing all the people on the floor, like, hey, Rodney, you're great. You're my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, stop lying, bro. I just stopped accepting. I stopped accepting. I stopped accepting praise. I'm like, this is bullshit. Y'all lying to me. None of this shit is true, bro. None of this shit is true. Y'all fake at the end of the day. Y'all all fake. Um, so like I said, so then at this point, like I said, I just went to another rut. You know what I'm saying? Went to another rut. I'm like, bro, I can't seem to do shit right, bro. Can't like I'm told I'm this good, not this good. You know what I'm saying? Not this consistent, not this great person everybody keeps seeing me out to be. And I'm like, I don't know why y'all keep saying that, bro. I'm talking to people like, oh, you enjoy talking. I'm like, are y'all lying, bro? Y'all lying. This shit don't mean nothing. You're intelligent. What the fuck are y'all talking about, bro? This intelligent that y'all talking about. It's not there. It's not present. You know what I'm saying? This intelligent person that you see is clearly a facade because I don't even know about it. I don't even know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That makes you believe this. Even my coworkers, they talk to me, you know what I'm saying? You just think different, you move different. I'm like that shit means nothing to me, bro. What are you talking about? I did for me, intelligence was did I know math? Did I know geography? Did I know history? You know what I'm saying? That's what intelligence meant to me. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, family members, you're intelligent, you're gonna be this millionaire. I'm like, bro, stop fucking lying, bro. Y'all lying to me. This shit, like I said, and eventually it stopped meaning stuff to me, stop meaning stuff to me. The only one who really had real validity into like the things that they said that I took to heart was my mom and my dad. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm like, and I'm just like I said, I'm just constantly thinking like, bro, why do y'all see me as this? Why do y'all see me as this pillar, this person of greatness? You know what I'm saying? I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I'm just as average as the next guy. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Everybody's saying I'm good at my job. That doesn't equal out to anything. Everybody says I'm smart. The fuck are you talking about? We can have a conversation, and I can barely even keep track of what you're saying. Um, I thought we have ideas and thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And it's like my ideas are shit. You know what I'm saying? Like this doesn't mean anything to me. None of this means anything. What you're all saying is meaningless nothingness. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, I always move I always moved like I was great. You know what I'm saying? I always moved like I was great. Like, I am the best. I am the best. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna tell me I'm not the best. You know what I'm saying? But it only mattered at that point when people started saying I was the best. That's even when my parents say, you're great. You're intelligent, son. You're handsome. You're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That meant nothing to me at that point. Even what they were saying, that shit meant nothing to me. Um, and then eventually, like I said, the only person that meant anything at this point from all those years, the only person that I trusted was myself. You know what I'm saying? Only person I trusted myself. I always knew I started learning. I learned myself for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? I only talk to myself. You know what I'm saying? I was in a room laughing and joking to myself. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to this created. It wasn't even this persona, but I was just in my head, just talking to a voice. You know what I'm saying? That I created. And like I said, just kept talking about, just kept hearing, just kept talking to that person. Same talk. You know what I'm saying? Also, I tried to get in a few relationships at the time too. You know what I'm saying? Those shits also fucked me up because um in our generation, even as a man, bro, you're always looked at as if you have to, sorry. Okay, there we go. um for my job, I mean, for like the relationship thing, I could have had sex multiple times, but that just never was my shtick. That was never my thing. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, let me get to know you first. Let me get to know you, and then we can do whatever you need to do afterwards. But I could never hit that point. You know what I'm saying? I could never hit that point because me, I was always looking at a relationship, or B, I just wasn't catching the signals. I did start eventually catching the signals, but then, like I said, I was approaching it with the mindset. Even somebody that I could have done it with, texted me on some dumb shit one day and was like, I'm drunk. Like, that shit's nasty to me, bro. That shit's not attractive. You could do that with some of these other dirty niggas, you know what I'm saying? But I should damn sure won't be fucking with you when you drunk. You know what I'm saying? You text me tipsy, cool. I would have headed over there ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Also, I got into an accident too, a car accident too. So that fucked me up, fucked up my mindset. Now I can't even, I don't even know how to drive. You know what I'm saying? Um, I had to find another thing, so I had to do that. Um, and then what else? Started, like I said, just started doing everything. You know what I'm saying? Just once again, just nothing felt right. You know what I'm saying? Just nothing felt right. Um, and like I said, as I kept moving, you know what I'm saying? As I kept moving, like, I didn't realize how much grace I was being granted. You know what I'm saying? How much grace I was really, and how different my mindset really was, and how much it was growing without me even realizing. You know what I'm saying? Um, I started realizing that, I started getting better every time, every single time. You know what I'm saying? Every single time I started improving more and more and more and more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? And to the point where, things just kind of started rolling off my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Things started rolling off my shoulder. Um, I started really bringing those things that I said I didn't realize, but I brought a lot of that stuff that I talked about into existence. You know what I'm saying? I remember telling my parents, I think, like when we first went to IKEA, when I first worked at McDonald's, right? I remember telling them, I'm gonna get that standing desk. I'm gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that shit. Got that shit now. You know what I'm saying? I remember telling my dad, like, I'm gonna find me a nice car. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna find me a nice car. Found that nice car. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm gonna find me a job that pays me more than the minimum wage. Found that motherfucker and got it, you know what I'm saying? And it was something that I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? To my boy, said, yo, I'm gonna find me an exotic girl, you know what I'm saying? Found me exotic girl, you know what I'm saying? And then from there, you know what I'm saying? And then, I told him, like, yeah, I'm gonna be the first to head out of our group. I remember telling him, I'm gonna be the first to head out, you know what I'm saying? And I was the first to head out, you know what I'm saying? So, and it took me a very long time up until this point, you know what I'm saying? And even now, it's still difficult for me to accept a lot of that shit that's happened, right? Because a lot of that shit, a lot of that shit is just like, for me, I'm like, man, it's still difficult for me to believe, like, nah, that's just luck. But then I just started accepting, like, nah, Ryan, you really did try a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? You tried a lot of things. You did a lot of things. You different, you know what I'm saying? And there's way more stuff. There's way more stuff that happened on the back end. But this is, like I said, this is just telling you a little bit of story, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of story progression up until now, you know what I'm saying? Up to now. Like I said, I started the streaming thing. I eventually started. I was able to bust out like a 4, 2, 3 hour video, you know what I'm saying? I was able to do that. And then, you know what I'm saying, um, then I met my girlfriend. And then at that point, you know what I'm saying, it's not that she took time, but I needed to dedicate some time to her. Of course, you know, like anything, you know what I'm saying? It's like because you have kids don't mean you can, but I'm gonna still stream for 4 hours. Well, you need to dedicate some of the time to your kids, you dumbass. So I started doing that. So now I had to do a little bit of more of this, you know what I'm saying? Um, and then, you know, then my computer crashed one time when I was, then I'm like, bro, this shit is ass, bro. Like now I gotta re-image, I got not re-image, I got to set this shit up again. I'm like, and that's why I was out for like 5 days on one time. Like this shit's boring, bro. This shit's boring. I mean, like I already got what I needed, bro. It's just like, whatever, man, whatever. It wasn't like I said, view. It wasn't the views or anything like that. I'm like, it's just like, this shit's annoying. It's just annoying. Like, it's another point where I got to do this over. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, again, you know, started hitting those points where it's like, oh, you need to put in some more of this stuff, right? You need to put in some more of this stuff, right? Um, and I need to put more time and dedicate it to it. So as I try to put more time and dedicate it to setting these things up, then I started losing that aspect of me having that game time. You know what I'm saying? At a point, I was only able to start playing my game for like an hour or two. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, right after I got off work, stream for a little bit, hop on my game and start, and you know, then start playing for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, a little bit of escape for me. Tried to do all that, bro. It's just like shit was like, man, I'm like, bro, this shit, come on, man. I'm like, come on, man. I need to like I started realizing like I gotta leave me more time for something. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying, I would try to play on the game with my girl, and then that was a problem. A lot of girls really don't like you playing on a game. It seems to be something cool. I even asked a couple of other guys, like, yeah, is this like a thing for you guys? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, but I'm like, you know what? You know, I care about this girl, so I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter. You know, I got another individual human. I didn't feel like I was losing myself with doing that. You know what I'm saying? It sucked, but like I said, I'm like, that makes sense. You got kids, you know what I'm saying? You got to have the dedicated time to your kids. I wasn't changing myself. I was just changing the habit. I'm like, okay, this is definitely a habit that can get changed. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then, you know, like I said, and I still tried it. I still tried to play my game occasionally from time to time. You know what I'm saying? I'll lead to certain arguments. I'm gonna say, bro, this shit ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? But I think, like you said, for that time, I felt like, like I said, I got off work, done streaming, start streaming, and then I would try to play the game. But around that time, you know what I'm saying, I couldn't do too much. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go, I'm about to go talk to my girl, you know what I'm saying? We talk all the time. So um so boom, that was that. And then I started editing a video, had a video edited, lost that video again because the stream, I mean everything crashed, so I lost that information. And then once again, I'm just like, bro, this shit is like this shit's annoying, man. This shit like shit was getting to me. I'm like, this shit, like I keep doing shit. And it's like, and like I said, it was something that I was accustomed to, right? These are things that I was accustomed to, but it's just like when you cared most about it, that's when the problem started occurring. You know what I'm saying? So I said, fuck it, bro. So then I started trying to do the video, and then as I was trying to actually do the video, um, like once again, it was like a little bit more time was getting dedicated to my girl. I'm like, all right, I gotta edit this video. I want to hang out with my girl, and then and then but then I also want to play my game. Get off at 4 or 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Had to stream for about an hour, maybe two, depending on how it felt. Um, and then hop on to and then hop onto the call, you know, maybe talk to my girl. Like I said, she wanted to do things while we was together. So I'm like, all right, you know what? So then that video thing started getting, you know, behind. So then I had to start saying like, nah, I got to start doing this video thing. Got to start doing this video thing. Um, Eventually got the video out. I'm happy with the video. I'm happy with the video. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm gonna leave it on that channel. I'm gonna leave it on that channel. I'm just gonna start adding everything to this one. I'm not big enough to be spraying out my content, so fuck it. Um, so yeah, that was that. And then like I said, now we're up to this point, you know what I'm saying? Now we're up to this point on the job, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm transitioning. Said car broke, so now I gotta ask a lot of questions, you know what I'm saying? And I want to start clipping some of those videos that I have and putting them on my thing so I can start spreading out my content a little more, hit different eyes, you know what I'm saying? Shit takes time, you know what I'm saying? And this is just the day to day. This is not including like other things I do on the back end, you know what I'm saying? Like occasionally help around the house with certain things, you know what I'm saying? drive certain places, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, time just started getting stripped from me, and I just started feeling like, bro, I'm like, bro, I ain't got, bro, I just ain't got no time, bro. I'm like, dude, like, how the fuck, like, is anybody else going through this? Is anybody else going through this shit? Because I'm like, bro, how am I like, how am I like doing this shit? You know what I'm saying? How am I like, this shit started getting to me. I'm like, bro, this shit's fucking annoying, bro. I'm like, I'm not like, how do I? Then that's when I moved downstairs. I'm like, bro, let me like, I gotta like get away from that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Shit got doubled down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro. So, like I said, be having all this right because I genuinely enjoy doing this right. I enjoy doing this right, but because how I am, I will burn myself out. I will burn myself out if I try to just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna da 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 burn myself out, and I'm gonna hate this shit. I'm gonna hate this shit for the rest of my life. I'll never enjoy doing it, no matter how much success I achieve. I will hate this shit for the rest of my life. Um, and I don't want that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I actually enjoy doing this. So I'm only doing things when I can, you know what I'm saying? When I can. And it may not be at the pace that I want. And eventually I will get it to the pace that I want. Just got to start figuring out how to allocate that time around a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, now I moved to the job, I'm going to get me a laptop so I can still continue streaming on the back end. But, you know what I'm saying? I only mention this because I really want you guys to know, like I said, nobody's watching at this moment in time, right? Nobody's watching this moment right now. But like I said, if it does help somebody in the future, I just want them to know like I guess this is, somebody who's also going through that same average everyday life shit, you know what I'm saying? 23, by the way, 23, if I haven't mentioned it before. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like same thing, even trying to get Sermon University. That shit didn't hurt me. I was annoyed because I'm like, bro, I wish there was like a fucking time thing so I knew exactly what I needed to do as I was working on my video, you know what I'm saying? The shit wasn't working out. And I just wasn't proud of the video. I wasn't proud of the video. I wasn't proud of who it was. And then I recorded like so many videos, bro. So many videos of like just trying to like maybe this should be myself. And then like, this is not really it, you know what I'm saying? And I tried a video that was fun. And it was like I like the idea, but the outfit wasn't hitting for me. It was just like, bro, this shit's ass. This shit is ass, bro. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then as I started being like, you know what, fuck, I'm just do something. I'm gonna do something. Tried that. Looked, thing was locked. Um, didn't make it to the Atlanta one. That seemed like to be the only one that wasn't even going to go through. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, fuck it. Um, But yeah, man, like I said, that's just the day to day that be going on. That'd be the day to day going on. It's not me trauma dump or anything like that. This is genuinely just showing you like, hey, this is I guess somebody's going through the same thing as you are, just average every day. You know what I'm saying? This streaming shit it ain't gonna take priority until that priority starts making me money, you know what I'm saying? But on the end of the day, I'm gaining skills outside. So this thing don't work, you know what I'm saying? Uh, I ain't gonna need this shit. This shit's just gonna be fun for me. You know what I'm saying? Compared to outside where I'm gonna just achieve that same success that I was gonna achieve here, just outside, Um, that's just the cold hard reality, you know what I'm saying? Just the cold hard reality. Like I said, I am achieving that success, you know what I'm saying? I am achieving success. I am failure. Failure does suck, but fuck it. Fuck it. I get used to it. I got used to it. You know what I'm saying? You get a little tired, not gonna lie, you get tired of this shit. But nonetheless, there's always a light at the end. There's always a light. You just gotta follow that light. You know what I'm saying? So, um, how does that long ass story play into this? Well, thank you for asking. Thank you for wrapping it back around. Um, only reason I keep looking because my camera keep like flickering. I like going slow. I'm like, fuck it. Um, and the reason this is right is because he's one of those ones that have been in the field for a long time. Even then, a lot of people would assume Sir would be successful. They would assume that he's rich. They would assume he has a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? You got 1 million subscribers. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? I was always told what you need like 50,000 or something like that subscribers. You know what I'm saying? To even start achieving that success, and then from there, 4 to 5,000 likes average. You can quit your job. You know what I'm saying? You can quit your job. And clearly that don't seem like to be the case for him. You know what I'm saying? Um, I even know, like, I even have to figure out, like, because I even told myself, like, even asked my dad, right? I was like, why? I'm like, oh, also too, I wanted to become a professional boxer too. So I'm like, I was just hunting money. I was hunting money. I was tired of being broke, you know what I'm saying? Or not broke. I was, family started having issues with money and shit like that. I'm like, bro, I can't. I just put a lot of that pressure on myself because it was just me, I just wanted to help out where I could. I'm like, bro, this shit is ass, bro. This shit is ass, man. I don't want to like, bro. I'd rather suffer. I'd rather suffer so everybody else can succeed. You know what I'm saying? But I realized I gotta succeed in order for everybody else to succeed, and that's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. Not the time that I want, but it's gonna take time. You know what I'm saying? And if I want it to stay faster, then I'll put some time into it. You know what I'm saying? But right now, it's just not the case, right? But basically is that, like I said, I have that same thought process as, I guess, when it comes to the outside world, right? It's not the digital world, right? I want to, I really want to push, you know what I'm saying? I do want to push this, right? Because I see streaming and I'm like, bro, you know how amazing it would be to like really connect to, just maybe 50 people, just 50 people or even more, you know what I'm saying, a day, and that just happens, you know what I'm saying? And it just happens. And I'm actually now able to talk to people and I'm able to look at my chat one day and be like, bro, that really like like bro, those people really watching me, you know what I'm saying? Those people really fuck with me. Like that shit's crazy to me, bro. And it's exciting, man. It's exciting. And it's such an exciting thought. It's such an exciting thought. And it's not because of like the money, right? Great. If it makes a lot of money, I think that's great. But I I'm realizing that maybe it's just me, but I'm this shit this me getting out is this is just this shit that I be doing right now. This shit is not me, bro. I'm greater than that. I'm greater than that. You know what I'm saying? And I believe a lot of you are too. But me, I feel like I'm greater. It's the honest truth. I feel like I'm greater. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I still try to figure out like, man, like you start blowing up, what happens? Like what you doing? You taking sponsorships? Is anything wrong with it? At the end of the day, you don't give a fuck about the sponsor. Same thing, your people, you just getting the money. You know what I'm saying? You just getting the money. And I'm like, it's like it's just one of those questions. I'm saying it's like, while you do start achieving the success, you able to help everybody else? How long you able to, how long you able to how long you able to maintain that success for? You know what I'm saying? Are you able to maintain it for long? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I'm also realizing like, should I start thinking about that now, or should I start thinking about when it comes? Because when it comes, you gotta really, you gotta already be prepared. Or if it doesn't come, you gotta think, well, when it does come, how do I prepare for it? You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is right now. Like I said, that's all it is. Um, do I believe that I'm going to achieve, popularity with streaming? Yeah, I do. I do. Um, it's not going to be this way of like clip farming and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be this way of clip farming. If anything, it's going to be because I said something dumb, because I am of the stance that um, I'm of the stance that, that if I say my own personal opinion, then my personal opinion becomes wrong because I didn't think about it. Because, I didn't think about it, or I was like, you know what? Why not just talk about it? Why not just talk about it? Didn't realize it was a sensitive subject. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, that's one of those things where it's just like, I think we all have to figure it out. And like I said, I'm still learning myself. I figured out who I am a very long time ago, figure out what I want to do. But I'm realizing that I'm still learning new things. I'm saying, starting to learn new things, maneuver differently. You know what I'm saying? Add things, I'm calling it a day. But like I said, let's get to the video. My bad. It's going to be a little bit longer stream of today, but just wanted to, like I said, talk to you guys, let you know. Like I said, just something random that's going to be hidden throughout the hundreds of videos that I have. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this one thing speaks to that person. You know what I'm saying? But also, like last thing too, this kind of relates back to what I was saying with the other videos, like the guy saying, um, streamers are bad. Obviously that wasn't his fault. That was the narrative that he was presenting, but I, I truly believe, I think it's just a problem with an individual. I'm saying I don't think there's anything wrong with streaming, but it's just because that's what the industry has done. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got more 12-year-olds watching a stream than you do 40-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one out of 10 40-year-olds are going to be in that chat, oh my God, just like the fucking 12-year-old. But the other actual nine people is going to be, the other 9 people is gonna be chilling and like, or they're just like, I'm not watching this bullshit. I'm like, or they're gonna understand, or maybe what 8 out of them are like, I'm just not gonna watch this, and maybe the other two, the last, no, my bad, the last 1 or 2 is going to be, be like, huh, I mean, this shit's entertaining, I guess. Fuck it, why not watch it? Maybe comment here occasionally, you know what I'm saying? That's just part of growing up, and that's just responsibility, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I think you just gotta move different. I think you just gotta figure out what you want. You gotta figure out what you want, kind of piece things together. Like, am I doing too much for this? If you're watching, just takes up a majority of your time, then maybe you should fix that. You know what I'm saying? And then if you want to find something different, if you like it, then you like it. Can't can't tell you, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't personally want to achieve success through yelling, screaming, you know what I'm saying? Being over the top, you know what I'm saying? And if I do that, it's because I thought it would have been a funny joke, you know what I'm saying? Or, I thought that moment required a joke, not a clip, not a farm, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to set things up, you know what I'm saying? If I'm with people and they decide to set things up and I happen to do it, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. Can't say. But I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this thing a lot. Like I said, never been happier before in my life. I'm extremely happy, not even because of this, but like I said, for the first time in a very long time that, what I'm saying, it's this happiness is starting to build, you know what I'm saying? And there's times where I'm like, man, it's fear because, happiness like this is always associated with like something bad's gonna go wrong, you know what I'm saying? But shit's always been happening, you know what I'm saying? So let me just enjoy it until that bad thing happens. Unless I die, unless I die, then maybe. Maybe, but right now I'm
Content.
chilling.
I don't know. Like it's just something about like me when I think about
Let
content.
me sit
Like don't
down
get me
too.
wrong. I think what I'm putting out is good.
For what it's worth, Suburb Baby caught fire in the niche of sketch comedy. But what we do know about a lot of the sketch comedians is that it's a really repetitive cycle. At some point, it gets a little old and tiring. And I'm pretty sure, without naming any names on this channel, you know the sketch comedians who you think have pretty much run their course or burnt out a fan base by doing the same exact stuff over and over again. And Suburb Baby essentially was in that same rut. Even in that video, he names the series that he had. And when I go back and look at it, I see same video after same video after same video getting the same point across with no expounding on anything. And while I did agree with him that the sketches were most likely dead, right? They didn't need to continue on. Honestly, I was tired of it. I'm pretty sure you're all tired of hearing that big fella. But the thing about the sketch comedy game is that it opens up so many lanes, and the skills that you've built building that audience can also work in streaming. It's basically required for streaming university and streaming. Playing different roles taught him how to adjust his energy depending on who he was around. Writing the different scenarios taught him how to do a beginning, a conflict, and some sort of payoff at the end. Improv taught him how to respond when live content moved in an unexpected direction. And unlike creators who only know how to react to certain clips, Suburb Baby knew how to create scenes with an S, multiple different moments that are entertaining. Basically, while these other creators that I saw on campus were trying to
That's another interesting point, right? So one thing I do want you guys to do, right? I want you to start looking at things that you do in your everyday life that you may not think is a skill, but is actually a skill, right? So that could even apply to your job, right? Um, I realized that even one coworker, he kept it real. He's like, the only reason I come to you is because you're the best troubleshooter, right? You're equivalent to how I think about troubleshooting, right? You're the only one that I can come up to and we can actually troubleshoot shit and actually figure shit out, right? Um, so I've realized that I do think outside the box when it comes to certain fuck when it comes to certain things, right? And then also I realized that I am very I'm not because I'm a perfectionist. I fixate on things a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's how I used to be able to figure out a lot of insanely difficult shit because I fixate on it. You know what I'm saying? There was no not fixing it until I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? If I did it, because that shit was actually a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I became extremely good at figuring shit out because of my fixation. Um, the only thing that I decided not to fixate on was the OBS software because I'm like, Rodney, if you fixate on this, you won't start the shit. But when it came to actually, once I actually figured out how to navigate the shit, figure out where everything was, I'm actually able to troubleshoot shit now. You know what I'm saying? I looked at my mic and I'm like, bro, why is my mic not working? Right? It's plugged in, plug it back in every time. Looked at it, looked at everything, hearing things. I'm like, shit, I gotta fix it. Same thing with my audio fixing. Looked at that, no audio thing was telling me exactly what it was. Hell, even one of my editing softwares that I downloaded back. I just realized I have a whole cut thing, but um, I was like, yo, why is there fucking like black pixels on my fucking screen? How do I remove this? Apparently it was due to like one of the masking things. I put like some mask on it and it just popped into my head. I don't know how the fuck it did. It just popped in my head. I just looked at mask and I was like, huh. Clicked it and it was like, oh shit, that fixed it. Like there was like these like weird black dots on my screen that was like symmetrically formed throughout the whole thing. It wasn't artifacting, but it was like it got overlaid with like some dots. And I was like, this is on every scene. So this is a problem, you know. Um, I actually used to start approaching things as like, let me just figure it out. Let me just figure it out, right? But now I actually break things up. I actually start breaking things up. And I'll tell you how this applies to Sir Baby and how this could apply to you, right? So I started breaking problems. I started breaking problems down from the top to bottom. Or I just started building them up, you know what I'm saying? While the computer's not turning on, okay. Instead of being like, well, wow, the power cord is just broken, let me actually, well, we're just trying to turn the shit on. Cool. Let me unplug it, plug into a different port. Didn't work. Okay. Let me try and swap the power cord. That didn't work. Okay. Now it starts getting to a little more intense problem. You know what I'm saying? Now it starts getting to a little more intense problem. Okay. So we tried everything that we could outside. Try a different power cord, try a different socket. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Right. Then you break it down. I'm not gonna go into the full thing. Then you open it up and then start looking at things. Um, and you're like, all right, cool. Let me just plug it in and let me turn the computer on just to make sure it's anything right. Powering it on, just nothing's turning on, right? Okay, if I can do it, at least in this case when it comes to a PC or it comes to just like, working on like something advanced I may not have known about. All right, so then let me start breaking that thing down and figuring out how this thing is. So if I plug in let's say it has a power box in it, right? Or it has a box in it, right? We start turning that on, right? Um, Okay, let me swap this out. Still doesn't turn on. Okay, now we got to start breaking down this thing. So we know it's not this, right? So we know it's something hardware related, right? Something hardware related, right? So I look into the thing, cool, figure it out. Cool. The connection to the actual power thing isn't turning on, right? There's nothing going to this thing, right? There's nothing going to this thing. So then you obviously say, then you figure it out. So obviously at that point, you have to figure out, all right, well, do I just swap this thing out, right? And if you swap the whole thing out, and you replace it, it still doesn't work, then there's something else wrong, right? Turns out it could be just the connection to the button. You know what I'm saying? It could be a plethora of things. But I've learned to break things down a little bit more rather than just immediately hopping into a solution, right? And that has allowed me to circumvent a lot of things in like my real life, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with my fixation, now my fixation is something I use on just a lot of things in my day to day, you know what I'm saying? Um, I'm still not great at it, but I'm starting to fixate on a lot more things. And that fixation is not becoming something that's controlling me, it's becoming something that I'm like, all right, cool, you're putting that proper time and effort into it. Call it a day. I'm saying it, call it a day. So and what I'm basically getting at is that you see how Suburbs Baby's his skill of doing the acts and comedy, gave bro a skill set that essentially allowed him to control a situation and understand how to act around certain people, right? Of course, Suburb Baby, he's gonna be him, right? He's always gonna be goofy, loud character, right? But now he knows when not to do too much or do too little, right? He knows when to be the butt of the joke and he knows when to be the head of the joke, right? Something as simple as that, what I'm saying? Something as simple as that, right? You're like, okay, well, I'm a fucking janitor. I ain't gonna learn how to do anything. Okay, well, look how precise you are with cleaning. Look how sharp you are at looking at certain details. You know what I'm saying? You might be good at people watching. You may not even realize it. You know what I'm saying? You may be able to add, oh yeah, I look at this bucket, you know what I'm saying? And I realize like there's a whole group of people, right? And people represent the water within that bucket. And from that, you can like, well, okay, if I drop something in there, drop a little rock into that bucket, right? Then you look at the group of people and you scream, you realize, okay, screaming is what causes a ripple effect with people. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, yes, if you throw a rock, uh, you're not gonna cause the scene, you know what I'm saying? You might cause everybody to spread out, but it's not to the effect that is like reasonable. So let's be reasonable people. Um, and then from there, you now know, okay, people react this way to this thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, how about when I move around? Well, you realize that if you move with assertiveness, if you when I'm mopping mom, you realize if you move with assertiveness, people see that, they feel that. So now you could be like, well, I'm just gonna walk my thing a little bit higher, and I'm gonna approach things differently on how I say it. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, you can break a lot of these simple things down into skill sets. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Remember that there's always something you can learn. You just got to figure out how to apply that to your reality. And that is easier said than done. You actually have to figure that out yourself. I'm only just giving an example because, like I said, and because I'm also fixated, I'm also trying to get better at understanding how people function as well. I'm not great at it, but I am getting better. You know what I'm saying? I do people watch a lot. Do you see how people walk? I see how people talk. You know what I'm saying? I've learned to listen more.
Chase a moment because that's all they knew how to do. Hey, I'm reacting to something. When I get to Stream University, I'll recreate what I would react to on a normal basis. Suburb Baby decided that he was going to take his skits that he implements across his different platforms and just say, hey, I've got a longer runway for these things now. With a bigger audience, with bigger names, I'll just get these same skits off with these people. His problem was never lack of talent. He just needed the correct environment to showcase how these talents translated into streaming. Suburb Baby arrived with the skills, but Streaming University still required him to make people care about his journey. And this is probably where the real separator came in. Before he even entered the campus, he began creating a story during the auditions.
But I'm gonna have to look at that application one more time, gang. Staying in touch is not a guaranteed, denied, or acceptance. Stay in contact, all right?
Gotcha. I ain't even gonna tell you why I should be at Stream University. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do when I'm there. I ain't gonna do no work. I might be a jerk. And all the female professors, I might make them twerk. I'm just being honest with you.
And this is your last stop.
No, I'm going to Atlanta.
You going to Atlanta?
I'm going to Atlanta.
Well. I'll see your bitch in ATL. Get the on my office. Cody, get this nigga. Yay! What the fuck?
You know, you asking me.
He already started.
You asking everybody else, why should they be let in? I'm asking what the people want to know. Why should you be let in?
Suburb Baby didn't treat each audition as some sort of isolated incident to impress Kai Cenat. You're probably asking yourself, dang, how did he get the opportunity to audition 3 times that day? No. He flew to all 3 cities that Kai Cenat was hosting these auditions in. And in each of the 3 auditions, he created an ongoing storyline.
What up, little nigga? Hey, Casey, I ain't gonna care, bro. You know, last time you told me, I didn't have enough energy. You know, I was trying to be respectful. But this time, fuck that respect shit. Nigga, I ain't even gonna tell you why I should be at Stream University. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do when I'm there.
Every time he returned, viewers already understood the history between him and Kai. The question was no longer simply, whether he would be accepted. It honestly became whether his persistence would finally pay off. And when it did, boy, it did. These auditions would give the audience a reason to become emotionally invested before Streamer University even started. And once he arrived, he continued that same exact approach.
Suburb.
Shut up, nigga. I'm watching your stream the other day. You said I look like a blobfish.
I did?
Yeah. No. Don't get the
He
air.
did.
You said I look like a blobfish. You know what you look like?
Me?
You know what you look like?
What?
An uneducated kangaroo. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. Fuck you.
You gonna be the first thing I put my hands on.
Come down here, nigga.
And you can see that same story building, same energy, and same mindset trickle into all the interactions that he had on campus with a bunch of different creators. Suburb Baby didn't just stand in the background waiting to be, what did that one woman say? A cheerleader in the bigger streamer streams.
The small streamers try to figure out where they can go, and they can't go anywhere. They're expected to just stick around the big creators and be the supporters and the people clapping in the back.
He came into these situations with energy, a character, or a clear idea as to how he can contribute, even if it went as far as saying that he could join a group that was already established well before he got there.
I know the answer is no, but I still want to ask you. I got the opportunity. Nigga, I want to be cool.
Okay.
I know the answer, no, but I just wanted to ask.
No, it's not no. We're gonna have to.
Hell no. Fucking hell no, bro.
Man, y'all niggas funny as fuck.
He avoided being dependent on disrespect or serious conflict. He can create tension through comedy or exaggeration or reoccurring
Crazy.
jokes.
Telling you, only a girl can get away with that.
Made other creators feel comfortable.
It is what it is. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
With him. Especially as the weekend went on, they could even identify that, hey, that's that guy who made that really funny clip and didn't go overboard. If he does approach me or when he does approach me, I'm gonna go ahead and play into what he's got going on. He's giving not only just the creator, but also the audience reason to search him later on. And that's why he's seeing so much success translating into followers and direct viewership rather only reposted clips. It's gotten so crazy that people aren't just watching Suburb Baby because he's around Kai. People are literally choosing Suburb Baby when Kai Cenat is live at the same time.
Hey, tell me my number down.
I got you.
You next up, bro. Your production finna get crazy. I already know.
Oh, for sure.
Looking back at all of it, I don't think the most impressive thing about Suburb Baby Streamer University run wasn't that he peaked at 195K. It wasn't that he got 443,000 new followers. It wasn't becoming the second biggest streamer on campus either. And it wasn't that he put a honey bun on stream the other day as well as a result of all the viewership that he had gotten during Streamer University.
What that number say? You tell me. Say it.
100,000.
No, say that. That's more. Say the exact number. And that's not a screenshot. That's not a screenshot. That's my actual. That's one of my accounts. Bitch, nigga, I'm spending it all.
Okay, now I may be capping out. That's pretty impressive. The most impressive thing to me was that he called it months before it happened. During his first auditions, he never said Streaming University would make him talented. He never said Kai Cenat needed to teach him how to make content. He simply said that he needed the attention to showcase to everyone what he could do. And that's exactly what happened. Streaming University didn't make Suburb Baby, actually amplified him. And anybody looking to be successful at Streaming University, Suburb Baby is a 100% case study to follow.
I agree. Another thing that you guys should look at too is that it doesn't mean you have to do exactly what Suburb Baby did, right? You just have to look within yourself, figure out how to manage that thing, right? Manage that thing, or utilize your skill set and branch off with that, right? Sometimes some skill sets are definitely difficult to present into certain digestible formats. But I think if you know yourself enough, or you think that you do enough, you definitely are able to figure something out, right? Definitely able to figure something out. I'm glad, because right now I'm still trying to figure that out, right? I know that I want to talk to my chat crazy, and I know I want my chat to talk to me crazy, right? And I want to have that fun chat where I can be like, yo, what's up, fuckers? And they're like, you're the bitch ass up. But then we're looking at some times where it's like, man, they just happy to see me, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy to see them, right? At the end of the day, it's just that love, you know what I'm saying? Just that love. But like I said, now how do I maintain them? That's a different story. That's a different story, you know what I'm saying? My thing is not going to be, because you may be like, oh, well, you have story times for days, you know what I'm saying? Nah, that's not going to be me. That's not, I may tell stories here and there, but that's just not going to be me, right? That's not going to be how my success goes. And if I do get successful for something like that, I'm not going to continue pumping it in, because that's the thing that blew me up. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I just want to stream and become good at it. You know what I'm saying? Good at it. And then eventually become great. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And I have ideas. You know what I'm saying? But those things require a lot of success. You know what I'm saying? Requires a lot of success, or requires a lot of build up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that require stuff. But right now we're not there. We're not there. You know what I'm saying? But eventually. All right, let's watch this last one. And
Streamer University
these would be the last videos on Streamer University.
Expose one of the biggest problems in the streaming industry right now. Everyone wants a viral clip, but the easiest clips usually come from embarrassing and disrespectful moments.
How's that teaching us anything?
Y'all out. You're not going in there.
What?
You're not going in.
So yeah, for him, I didn't realize a lot of people didn't like him. I think I said that before. I know a lot of people didn't like bro. I still stand on what I said for his video though. I still stand on what I said for his video though. I thought he was funny. I thought his first initial setup was funny.
Engage with people. Hey, y'all not going in there.
Why not?
Because you're disrespectful.
She's just flexing on us. She's showing her stats.
Flexing.
Who is
That's
y'all?
a flex. It's showing pedigree.
Yes.
Showing pedigree.
I wanna.
You want to get viewers, you want to stay live, you want to make money. So go do that. You don't got to do it here.
All right.
All right, have a good one.
Oh my God. How you get dismantled like that? You do that, you gotta die. I'm sorry, I gotta blow your brains off and you gotta die. Go be on the other side. You ain't gonna help. You ain't gonna kiss me and then slap. You ain't gonna slap me, then kiss me, and then give me a massage afterwards. That shit's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to accept that, bro. He literally told him, "Yo, go make some money. It ain't here." And they kept like, "What you mean? What you mean?" He already set the kill you for doing some shit like that. Ah, that fucking sucks, bro. What the fuck?
And just know that these Margellas have a little bit more shine than yours.
And this fucking idiot lost, and he fucking lost because he thought he could swing, and he dodged. Bro, this nigga's a millionaire. This nigga's a millionaire, bro. You're not winning that battle. You see how he just walked away? Like, all right, see you. Y'all clearly not willing to learn. If they let the ego aside and walked off, I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let me go make some of this guap. Man, is there surgery for saliva drippage? Is there surgery for that? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those people that I talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm spitting all over your lips and in your eye sockets and your pores. I'm not moisturizing your face with my saliva, but for some reason inside of my mouth, a lot of spit is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Some people here are too much, bro. They're too much.
And two creators really encapsulate the issue that I'm talking about. Streamer Paybay and the Mighty BA both crossed other creators' boundaries chasing
I
these
don't know who
viral
the
moments.
fuck
And
this
both went
is.
viral,
I don't know
but the
the fuck that
completely
is.
different conclusions they reached afterwards may determine what kind of career these people have from here. Are these two victims of the entire streaming industry and the thing that plagues it right now as a whole? Are they not understanding the moment? Why do content creators and streamers feel the need to disrespect people in order to get the clip off? And are we about to see a renaissance in streaming based off of the outcomes of these two creators? If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's gonna go a long, long way. Don't disrespect me by not subscribing to the community. Got to 180K. Now let's get to 200. Now, back into the video. Now, for what it's worth, I think that there was a bunch of disrespectful
He's a cool little guy, man. He's a cool guy. Cool little guy. Grown ass man, right? Fuck you talking about? Yeah, grown ass man. Successful one at that. I thought I could catch my eyes. Thought I could catch me looking to myself in the camera. Close, close, close. Grown ass man, you know what I'm saying? Grown ass successful man that you watching his content for, by the way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He finding it. He's figuring this out, man. He intelligent black chocolate boy.
moments that happened across Streamer University over these past 5 days.
Do it again.
Also, by the way, it's just my daily check, man. If you guys been tuning in, thank you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You could be watching anybody else, but you decide to dedicate your time to watch me. It's the smartest decision of your life. It's the smartest decision of your life. You're a fool for understanding that you love me, right? Because I love you, but I love you differently. You know what I'm saying? You love me because you love me. I love you because I love. You know what I'm saying? You tell me, oh, Rodney, you hate me. I'm like, Jesus, when it comes to that, right? Like, you just hate me. You sure about that, son? Sister, you sure about that? Y'all sure about that? I spit in your face, Rodney. Do it. Do it. He has not sinned.
It's gonna be a problem. Don't you ever in your life. Don't you ever. I stopped doing that. Messing with my dean.
Oh my.
She been snitching. She don't tell her nothing. She
No.
been snitching.
Guys,
Turn the cameras off.
So you're a snitch. That you think snitching is funny? A little lesson for you.
that's cool. If you want to round it up, we can round it up. Let me play.
And you're lucky I stopped being on women years ago.
Where you going? What the fuck?
You do my thing?
Bet. This dude just tried to get me banned.
And while there are a plethora of situations in which we could be talking about in regards to streamers disrespecting other streamers, the place and space that Streamer University was held, et cetera, in order to get a clip, there are two that really stand out to me. The first being this incident.
One thing I'm gonna be honest, right? I understand people. I understand, oh yeah, nigga this, nigga that, spook, whatever, right? Cool, I understand. Bro, we gotta do something different, people. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do something different. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do something different. You know what I'm saying? If I got banned for some shit like that, right? If I got banned for some shit like that, first, I'm not gonna care that you said the shit, right? I just look down on you. I just look down on you as somebody who whenever I see people make jokes like that, right? I believe you got put into a corner where you lost all your power and you feel the only way to gain power back is by saying that you're weak. I don't get mad at you. I'm not even disappointed because I feel like disappointment is something that is still a level of respect. You just felt, that this one time that person really has crossed the barrier where it's like you just never expected them to, right? I look down upon you. You are now equivalent to an ant, bacterium. You know what I'm saying? That's what you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be difficult for you to evolve back into a sentient creature for me. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be a rat or a pig, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take you a while for you to achieve that level of sentience for me. And that's how it is. That's just how it
The
is.
new streamer Paybay decided that she was going to yank the leg of experienced streamer Lacey.
I need it. Get out.
Take that nigga shoes.
Stop. Hey, really? Ow, fuck. Yeah, really. This shit fucked up.
Oh, so you actually had an issue?
Whew, that is probably one of the toughest watches I have ever seen. I really felt something in my stomach watching.
Was it? I thought that was just him playing for a bit. I thought that was him playing for a bit. If I'm going to be honest, him sitting in the chair. I don't believe Lacey's an idiot, but I genuinely thought it was enough for anybody. I really don't care to come in here on an automatic chair. I had no idea. I would have no idea that he had an issue with his leg. You know what I'm saying? The fact that she grabbed it, that is kind of like the most I think that's one of those situations where it's like, holy shit, I fucked up because I didn't even realize it. And even him going, oh, what? Obviously, subconsciously, I knew that there was something wrong with it because obviously, when he said, well, the clip of her grabbing his leg, if I didn't basically come to the conclusion that he actually had an issue with his leg, I wouldn't have known that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But watching it, it was a little rough. It was a little bit rough, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I genuinely thought he was just playing it up for a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because he's successful enough to do that.
Her pull his leg. For context purposes, streamer Lacey had suffered an ACL
Oh, shit.
injury prior to joining Streamer University. During the whole time that he was there, he was in some sort of mobility scooter, either being pushed around by others or on the motorized ones to make his way around campus. During a moment, Lacey and his experienced streamer friend, Your Rage, were horse playing, and Your Rage pulled him out of the wheelchair. This is when Paybay decided, hey, I'm gonna get into the act and I'm gonna copy the interaction. I see people beating up on streamer Lacey, I'm gonna go ahead and involve myself. The problem is that she decided that she was going to interject and insert herself into a place and space in which she didn't already have prior knowledge or a built-up relationship with a streamer. Now, even without knowing the full extent of the injury, there was really no reason for her to involve herself physically.
That's a reasonable take. That's a reasonable take. I guess that's because that's just not me. That's just not me, and maybe the conversation should end there. But genuinely seeing that, I genuinely like, I've been seeing a lot of people do the exact thing that she's doing, like involving herself, you know what I'm saying? Involving themselves in a situation where they maybe shouldn't. I guess they shouldn't because they don't know that person naturally. But it's like this is an area where, like I said, you see a lot of people doing it, you know what I'm saying? You see a lot of people doing it. This might be the one moment where it's like, hey, let me take my turn. Let me take a crack at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That one's like that's a fine line, and that's a line that even I have no idea if the right answer. Obviously, she's more in the wrong. She is definitely more in the wrong. But like I said, you know what I'm saying? It's like if same thing if I see people throwing water on Kai, you know what I'm saying? Even if it wasn't just Kai himself, would I also do the same thing? I mean, if I was in their shoes, maybe, I guess. Um, I mean, me personally, I just wouldn't want water thrown on me, so no, I wouldn't do it. And maybe, like I said, I think I'm literally answering my own question as I'm saying it. But I think just the involvement of the situation isn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Even hell, the guy your rage knowing him, he literally pulled bro out of the chair and threw him on the ground. That's literally leading up to anything. That seems like that's the line. That seems like that's the line right there. And going anything past that would be grabbing the leg. She even grabbed the bad leg, which seems to be crazy. So I genuinely wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't have expected it. I think for me, I would have just apologized. Oh shit, my bad. Like I genuinely had no idea. You know what I'm saying?
In a moment that was happening between these two. She barely knew Lacey. She saw your rage doing something and decided, hey, there's a funny moment here. Let me
There
assume
you
and
go.
insert myself and copy what's going on. But
And I
just
guess that's what it
copying
is,
the
the
action doesn't
assumption.
mean that you can copy the trust behind it all. So it looked like a
That's
playful
true, I guess.
interaction between
Okay.
friends
Okay.
immediately
There you
felt
go.
like this invasive
There you go.
moment when it came from someone that Lacey barely knew. Now, I'll say this. Accidents do happen, and I don't think it would be the biggest deal in the world. Hey, I see you guys being playful. I want to go ahead and insert myself. I made some sort of mistake because I didn't really realize what was going on, and I went a little too far. Granted, people had to physically pull her off of him instead of her heeding the warnings of, hey, ow, 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 this does hurt. But nonetheless, accidents can happen. The real problem comes in the interactions that happened after.
Ah,
This is
I just
her
started thinking
attempt
about the
to
feeling.
address
I
the
started thinking
situation.
like, yeah, I don't know if you ever felt that tension in your body where it's like you could feel a muscle. You could feel like that individual strand muscle where it's like that shit just you could feel that motherfucker. Ah, I felt like that shit was going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like this it's very exclusive, specific pain. It's like if you ever want to like, I guess like get something close to that feeling, like you know, like that bone that like I don't know what bone that would be specifically, but it'd be like whatever bone is right here. You know what I'm saying? If you ever want to feel something like that, just imagine that getting tugged on. You know what I'm saying?
At hand.
But like, what did I do? I didn't really do nothing. And if I really did something, it would be something that would be said and everybody would hate. But like, everybody don't hate on me.
The streamer Pebe maintained that she did nothing wrong. She
That's
judged the
the problem.
situation entirely by her intention. And she felt that because she did not mean to intentionally hurt Lacey, that the audience should not treat this as some sort of serious moment. And I can see why she felt like that. We'll get into it a little bit later in the video, but she ultimately felt as though she was entitled to enter this situation, you know, put hands on Lacey without understanding the full context. But the problem is that intent does not erase the fact that she touched an injured person without permission. Lacey and the audience at large saw someone ignoring an obvious physical boundary, and instead of acknowledging that difference, Pebe immediately became defensive. And I think what made the situation look worse for Pebe is what follows. Your rage, somebody who is a friend and knows Lacey, who's also involved in the incident,
Oh, I had no idea
goes
you
up
knew
to
Lacey.
him
Cool.
and apologizes and makes sure that he's okay.
I'm sorry, bro.
Bro, you're good.
Are you good? I'm
Yes,
so sorry. I feel
bro,
so bad.
You didn't do anything.
I feel so bad, bro.
No, I've been getting people, guys throwing me out of my wheelchair 4 times. It's troll, like that's like, I've made sure, every time it's happened, I made sure to step on my right foot.
I couldn't go to bed. I feel so sorry, bro.
You're good,
I didn't know you got hurt after,
No, you're
bro.
good,
I'm
you're good,
sorry,
you're good.
bro.
Despite knowing Lacey personally,
That's
he
cool.
decided that he was going to apologize because
There you
even
go.
he, as somebody who is a friend who knew about the injury, can also understand that sometimes things can go a little bit too far. You really didn't need to agree that the moment was extremely serious to recognize that Lacey was in uncomfortable and in excruciating pain. This is somebody who was permitted to joke with Lacey in this moment, and he showed more accountability than Pebe did. This demonstrates that the issue was not simply people failing to understand a joke, but it was Pebe refusing to accept that the joke was not hers to make. But the worst of it all is that after the chat truly just lays into her, after people are telling herself about what she did, she finally decides to go over and give some sort of apology. But this apology is only going to reveal what she is most concerned about. And heads up, it's not Lacey's health, safety, and well-being.
One of them.
You're right, but you have an
You
influence.
can go back in the VOD.
But you can say something
okay, and
to
guess
have
what
an
I did say?
influence.
Guess what I did say? I said, guys, don't send her hate. She didn't know. That's what I said.
But you continue to talk about it,
Yo,
and then when I come over here,
Delusional.
no brain. Your brain is gone.
Delusional.
Oh my God.
The streamer did come over to
Delusional.
apologize, but her apology came with a bunch of explanations, complaints, and more importantly, conditions. She focused heavily on the hate and the criticism that she was receiving from the different communities that saw this incident. She was willing to apologize, but that's if Lacey would, you know, not continue to drag the situation because she was being hate farmed. She wanted him to step in and control the audience, and that was the most important portion to her. Literally, that shifted the focus away from what happened to Lacey and towards what's happening to her and her reputation. The apology appeared designed to stop the negative attention rather than to understand why the incident was wrong in the first place. She placed part of the responsibility of repairing her image onto the person she had ultimately disrespected. Do we understand the pattern here? She felt as though she could disrespect somebody and it would lead to some sort of banger clip. And now that she has to sit in what she made, she can't handle it. And she wants somebody else to come and clean up her mess. Hell, she almost feels even entitled to this. I know in the back of her mind, she's thinking to herself, herself, I've seen other people do this before. Why am I getting so much backlash for it? Now, on this channel, we're about pattern recognition. We don't take these isolated incidents and make judgment calls. But before Paybae could even conceivingly resolve this issue with Lacey, another clip showed that the problem was larger than just one misunderstood joke.
No, so that's just a problem with herself. She's just disrespectful. She's just disrespectful.
Now, I don't think that there's any real way around it. Joke or not, spitting in someone's face, especially not water, is flat out disrespect.
Yeah, that
It
is
seems as though
wild.
Suburbaby and Paybae didn't have some sort of relationship where this would be okay to assume.
She just seen Sub Baby as just some motherfucker I can bully. I could just bully this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking crazy.
With it. It's not like they were in the middle of some sort of big water fight or anything like that. Once again, another person's discomfort becomes the content. The moment was easy to clip because it had some sort of immediate action, reaction, and conflict. But the clip did not reveal Paybae's creativity.
My bad, I'm spinning a bagger. That's why I keep looking down.
Reinforced the image that she created by the Lacey incident. And instead of feeling like one bad decision, it now looked like a repeated approach to making content.
I'm not gonna apologize no more after this though. It is what it is. Don't fuck with her.
Then you got the roach on the side. You got the roach on your side, flying. You know where it don't need to be flown. You get swatted easily. You know what I'm saying? You wanted the slow ones. You wanted the slow roaches. Now let's talk to the big roach, right? She just don't give a fuck. She just don't give a fuck. Whoa.
Rage had pulled Lacey out of his wheelchair, and I was like jokingly like, "Oh, let me take this nigga's shoe," and I guess I was like hurting him. So I'm just apologizing.
I guess.
I didn't mean to. But I thought. I honestly
Told you, Roach got swatted.
I'm out that wheelchair, running around with his wheelchair, like.
That's what I'm saying. It's been like that this whole time.
This right here to me exemplifies the whole disrespectful streamer issue that is plaguing streaming world right now. For what it's worth, Paybae got the attention that she was looking for, but almost all the attention became attached with moments where someone else was looking disrespected. Her apologies focused more on stopping the backlash rather than changing the behavior. She appeared to be leaving Streamer University, believing the audience's reaction was larger than the problem. The only reason why she did that is because she never questioned the mentality behind her incidents. Viewers had little to no reason to believe that it would never happen again, solely because there wasn't another storyline or anything else that she was involved in. It was just, hey, another person thinking that disrespect is some form of content. Her biggest mistake was not simply crossing the line, but it was refusing to consider why she kept doing it. When we talk about continual line crossers, there's no person better to look for than the mighty BA.
See, bro, shit, you like Pokemon? Yeah, I love Pokemon. Bro, hold on. No. Yo! That's an SIR! That's an SIR! That's a big hit! No, you're bending it! No. You're bending, no. That's an SIR! No. What are you doing? Why would you bend this card? What are you doing? I didn't know that's bad. He bent the Jolteon SIR! So, is that bad? Yes, bro! You can't hit this card, it's impossible to hit.
Oh! Hold up, we gotta see how much that shit costs. Hold on, he's saying that shit's impossible to hit. Bro, I'm sorry, you got right to the jawline. I don't care if it's a card, bro. That's disrespectful. Kick me off, expel me. I probably wouldn't do that. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a little unnecessary. But I think because sometimes it's difficult to know when you need to check people. And it's difficult to know if that check requires physical violence or if it really just requires you asserting some kind of dominance in some manner. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, if somebody physically hits you, then you need to hit them back, right? Maybe that's where the situation, where that's where the line ends right there, right? But that's one of the things where you're destroying my own property and I gave it to you, right? I'm probably just gonna pick you up by your suit, lift you up in the air, toss you, and I'm throwing you on the ground. That's probably just physical as it's gonna get. Let me see. How much is that? Jolteon EX. I'm just curious to see how much this costs. Jolteon EX. I don't know if this is the right one. Price check? I don't know. I don't know how to assume. I'm trying to see if I can find. Okay, here's a specific one. Here's about a. That's about a. Okay, it looks like the higher grades. So that could be if it's a. Yo, he had a $700 card right there, people. I don't know if this is the. I don't know if this is the right check. I don't know if this is the right check. But if it did come off as a perfect grade, which it was, because he just opened the shit, came up, he could get that shit graded as a 10. Damn, that drop off is fucking insane. That's a $400 loss for a 5-point difference. How the whatever. Um, and and he bent the shit and ripped it. First is first. After he bent it, that shit is already dropping down, probably to like a. If we have to assume, I don't know anything about card management, that shit got to be down to maybe like a. It looks like it's no point. You can, like there's no point. It's like there's no thing lower than a 7. You know what I'm saying? Nothing lower than a 7. That's wow.
Sorry. I'll give you another one. Here, you can take mine. Cause that was Loki, your Jolteon, because I grabbed it off your bed. I'll give you my Pokemon. How about that?
You just ripped like a $300 card.
Say on God, that was $300?
Wallahi.
This $300 Pokemon card that belonged to his root.
So everybody say Wallahi. Are we all Muslims now?
A chain reaction of 5 days worth of events and clips of disrespect
What you doing, buddy?
other content creators by
What you
the
doing?
NBA.
Well, rat
What's really
dog.
interesting about this clip
What you
and
doing?
the others that will be shown is that if you look closely enough, the Mighty BA is genuinely confused as to why Keem and the audience decided to treat this incident so seriously. From his perspective, he thought that ripping up this Pokemon card made some sort of memorable reaction. But from Keem's perspective, someone destroyed property without permission. And that makes sense to a lot of people. Like, that's exactly what it was. I think the financial value of the card made the incident worse, but the bigger picture is that even if it was a cheaper card, why would you still destroy somebody else's property in an attempt to make some sort of content? Only once he learned the value of the card did BA try to rectify the situation. But much like Paybay's first apology showed that he believed that the backlash was more unreasonable than his behavior.
For everybody from the Pokemon community and getting mad at me for ripping a Pokemon card in half, what I will say is I am sorry for wasting the money that it had, but I did not know that.
I was waiting to see. I was waiting to see the top dog's reaction. I was waiting to see. That's why I didn't say anything. He was like, "Is he going to apologize?" Fucking failed. He did. Hold on, let me see. I was only looking at him because obviously he's significantly higher power in. He's like the PR guy, right?
At me for ripping a Pokemon card in half. What I will say is I am sorry for wasting the money that it had, but I did not know that it was worth $300. And if you were hating, fuck you.
He still don't get it.
Okay.
Man, actually, the fuck you weakens the apology, but whether the card was $3, $300, or $3,000, there's another way to go about making
my
content
property
other than ripping up somebody's property or destroying what they value. And at this point, the Mighty BA is looking at the situation and measuring the incident by how it would make him more viral rather than the boundary that it would cross. Now, remember when I said I'm a pattern recognition guy? It'd be one thing if he left it at that and learned from the behavior, but later on during the Streamer University stint that BA and Keem had, he kept pressing the boundaries to the tune of Keem having to put him in his place on stream.
Yeah, stop getting baited, bro. Stop it, Keem.
Wait, did he rip a hollow?
Yo, love you, Keem.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
There you go.
Some non-content shit, bro. Some non-content shit. Don't ever fucking pat my head again. Okay? I'm fucking sick and tired of bullshit, bro. Pat my head again.
What a bitch, bro. What a bitch.
Pat my head again, you fucking bitch, alright?
There you go.
Don't fucking touch my head again like that. I got you. That's disrespectful. Don't fucking disrespect me. On some no-content shit. Don't disrespect me.
So the tension is already created between Keem and BA, and instead of saying to himself, you know what, there's probably a different way for me to make content, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. No, he decided to continue to press the issue and head tap him and continuously rub his head after being told not to. Instead of respecting that boundary, BA continued to push and push and push until ultimately he broke. He wasn't just simply failing to read the room, but he was using the discomfort in the room as some sort of content. What makes the Mighty BA situation so tough to me is because, for what it's worth, when you looked at his Stream University audition, he seemed to be somebody who was bright, bubbling, and up and coming, but most importantly, creative.
Yo, Kai. Don't accept me into Streaming University. I have 200 followers. I average 5 viewers. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I stream from the middle of nowhere. I'm a nobody.
Is what I would.
Oh, stream's not working. Did I get banned or something? I don't fucking know. My stream still? There's no data. There we go. It's a struggle right now. It's a struggle. Bro, this is the kind of quality I wanted for one of my videos. Could not achieve it. I seen that was exactly what I seen in my head. Could not put that shit on paper, bro.
Say if I didn't know who I was.
Let me tell you who I am. I love streaming. Streaming brings me joy. Every time I hit start streaming, I feel like I have a second family. Streaming gives me freedom. It lets me unite with people. It lets me dream. I don't believe in the word impossible. They all say it's impossible until someone does it. So maybe the kid who averages 5 viewers with 200 followers and grew up in the middle of nowhere is the one you'll accept. It's possible, and I guess that's time.
But it seems as though he had ditched that creative personality and persona in order to chase the disrespectful clip farming game. The why we can only
Because he already
ponder, but we'll
achieved.
speak to in a minute.
Unfortunately, I think that's just because he achieved, he made it, once you made it, you know what I'm saying? Instead of sticking to that path, which a lot of you should be doing, you know what I'm saying? And unless that path that you're going in is still going to provide you some kind of new knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Then do that, you know what I'm saying? Um, it's just the honest truth. It's just the honest truth. I think you have to figure that out. And if you do get into that path and you realize, okay, that wasn't good, then you got to get out that as fast as possible, you know what I'm saying? But you got to try new things.
But the results of it all ultimately showed that it's probably not the best route. His confrontational, disrespectful antics didn't just stay in his room. It also followed him into the classroom.
Yes, I looked through all your channels.
Okay, tell me the last thing I posted.
The Mighty BA, you posted your first video. It's pathetic. It's an embarrassment. It's called I Played Fortnite with a Transgender. It has 3 You want to say I didn't do my homework? You're a pathetic excuse for creator if that's your first video. Hey, I don't want to hear you speak up one more time in class or you're out. I'm being serious.
And mind you, Ludwig was awarded the best professor at Streamer University, and he was trying to give a true and wholesome lesson. Challenged by the Mighty BA, he retorted in a way that was fit, embarrassing him. And ultimately, I think the Mighty BA thought that he was trying to catch Ludwig lying and get some sort of clip off that would make him look better, but ultimately, it made him look worse at the end of it all. Not only did you have a dog shit video as your first video, but then you ultimately tried to make this confrontation into some sort of content, and it flipped back on you. This clip to me revealed that BA was eager to create moments, but had not developed a clear routine or creative identity. He relied on other people's reactions because his own ideas were not strong enough to carry the moment. But when the reaction is built around provoking someone else, eventually other people will control the clip. Now, for most of Streamer University, BA responded to this stuff by trying to be defensive. But I think after all of these incidences and the reputation that was bubbling up and building online, he finally stopped asking why everyone hated him and started looking inward.
How has today been? Rough?
The past 4 days have been kind of rough.
This whole event's been pretty rough, right?
Really, it has.
What has made it difficult? I'm sure your expectations coming in were a lot different than what you actually experienced.
What made it difficult was my actions, actually. That's what made it difficult.
So, like, how do you feel? Like, what are you going to take away? What's your plan now?
What's my plan from here is to flip it and to not do the things that I did. You know, the biggest thing that I realized was, like, I didn't fully know these people to do the things that I did. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest problem.
BA openly acknowledging that these actions that he did over the past 4 or 5 days ruined his Streamer University experience is very, very telling. He's recognizing in real time that he'd become too eager to make some sort of content at the expense of others, and he's seeing that it's backfiring on him. Not only was the community at large not on his side, but he also realized that, hey, I might need these people later on, so why would I build some sort of reputation as being somebody who is a dickhead, who doesn't really give a shit? But herein lies the bigger issue in conversation. Paybay, BA, and whoever else at the Streamer University that went about this disrespectful route when it came to creating content exposed the larger problem about disrespectful clip farming. Streamers today seemingly lean into that.
But we'll be honest. When did he? Let me check it. Hold on. Let me check this. I think bro is posting daily. His analysis are really good.
To chase the moment and the clip and the people. And I think that people have been ignoring it for way too long.
Drama. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Drama doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but Rakai's he's a beast at farming drama. And you know he's young, so like he just brushes it all off. But if your appeal is drama, people watch you because you're high risk and funny. Now if you're high risk and unfunny, you're cooked. You're just a guy that people don't like. And we know examples of that. But if you're funny enough, you could actually pull off the high risk stuff and get away with it. Rakai has been on a generational run. I don't even know if he knows sometimes how he be making elite level decisions and just barely getting away with it. I'd seen a fucking crazy clip yesterday that could have went really bad, but he just keeps getting away with it. But it's because he's really, really funny. I'm telling you right now, bro, you could actually be the most evil person possible, but if people think you're funny enough, they will let it slide. And the opposite is true. You could be the most innocent person possible, but if people don't like you, then you're cooked. You're gonna form the bad clip, gang.
I find it very, very telling that in a place and space where you are having the biggest improv collective known to man on one campus, where you have pretty much limitless opportunities, time, and space to get off whatever skit, build whatever storyline, or do whatever you needed to do, streamers decided to turn to the disrespect route. I think the reason why is because the disrespect is a go-to for the most eager streamers. It's easy. It's simple. A normal conversation generally doesn't go viral. Hell, they know what is on their timeline. Confrontation creates a clear emotional reaction. When you go on these clipping pages like Feared Buck or Kick Champs or whoever, you see what is getting the most views. Destroying something, insulting someone, invading their spaces creates an immediate beginning of conflict and some sort of payoff.
That's one thing I do want to bring up too. I think a lot of people don't understand that they can't handle that kind of backlash that comes with those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to doing that kind of stuff, right? I think it's like I said, it's always the easiest route is always going to be, like he said, the disrespectful route, or the easiest route is always going to be the most evil, right? That could be in any aspect. That could be simply you just cheating on a test, or you disrespecting other people, or you even disrespect yourself, right? These are always going to be the easiest things, right? Because and that's why and I just want to let you guys know that's why as a growing content creator, if you're somebody who's just like, man, I see all this, that's why there's always going to be areas for success, because there's always going to be people like that, and there's always going to be people that never accepted what could be. You know what I'm saying? People who are not going to accept, oh shit, like I think I seen somewhere it was like, you know, a good idea is only a good idea because it was never actually acted on. You know what I'm saying? Well, helping out the world. That's a good, I mean, what, reducing everybody's electric. That's an amazing, bill for electricity. That's an amazing idea until you do the shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, attacking a building, you know what I'm saying, that, actively doing saying it sounds like a good idea. It's a good idea, you know what I'm saying? The business idea that you had, everything that you had, the ways to make money, these are all excellent ideas because you never failed at it, or you never had a chance to even fail to begin with, right? That's just the honest truth. Your rate is 100% because you never actually even you never even tried anything, you know what I'm saying? And your rate of success, just because, like I said, you want to look at it because, well, I'm successful 100% as long as I don't act on it. Well, that's a problem. Well, yeah, she never said no, but she never said yes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, I know that job can make that, but did you actually make it? You know what I'm saying? Well, there's plenty of time in the world, is there? You know what I'm saying? Um, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people have, and that's why no matter what happens and what is going to be the truth, there's always going to be room for growth and success, right? It's always going to be room for growth and success. And there will never be a moment where, because there's always going to be people that stay in their hate and say, what could be, even be saying this, right? But do any of y'all actually have the will to act on some of the shit that you do? You know what I'm saying? That person has the will to act on it is always going to be well off than the person who never did to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Just the honest truth.
Captions together that clearly make a villain and they create a
Right.
victim.
And last thing is, success is difficult, people. Success is difficult. If you don't have a clear goal or idea, you know what I'm saying? sometimes that is going to be difficult, but you can go with the flow sometimes. But that going with the flow won't be the thing that it won't last very long. You know what I'm saying? It will get you there. But if you're like, well, I'm just gonna go with the flow, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you do achieve that level of success. Well, you have to maintain that success. You know what I'm saying? If you want what comes with that, you know what I'm saying? And if you're struggling to figure out how to maintain it, right? It's not a problem. It's always going to be difficult to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? And that's only something you or I can't tell until we A, get to it, or like I said, B, you already seen that thing coming and you figured out how to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? Or you accept that, all right, cool, this thing is not working out. Maybe it's time for me to pack it up, right? And that's not the bad route sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That's not the bad route, especially if you understand that that route is a route that's going to lead to the least stress in your life and the best outcome from you doing whatever you need to do. Because now you've done that. Now you've learned an experience. You know what I'm saying? You've learned something.
And then
You know
they
what I'm
get
saying?
sent to the moon. And when these new streamers see those views goes up, they see that as some sort of attention without needing to develop a format, a story, or any sort of personality. This is what makes disrespect feel like the fastest path for inexperienced streamers. Another person may pay the emotional or physical cost while the creator receives the views. And every creator thinks they are funny or charming enough to get away with it. At that point that Agent said, you can only do this if you are extremely funny, is probably the most misinterpreted point in his whole correct monologue about this. But the problem is that these content creators
What?
up and coming are seeing these clips that
I
are
don't even
going
know.
viral. Is that the most misinterpreted point in his whole
Amos?
correct
I've never
monologue.
heard that word before.
But the problem is that these content creators up and coming are seeing these clips that are going viral and taking the context out of all of it. What makes this moment okay for this person to do with that person?
You don't know everybody here, and you don't know what it makes every, like with AMP.
I don't.
Like, we know each other so well now, I know what not to say with who, right? If I call Kai pussy, he's not gonna care. He doesn't care about that. If you call Phantom pussy, he gets offended. If I call AIM a bitch, he's not gonna care. If I call Mark from RDC a bitch, he gets offended by that. You have to know your personnel. You got to know your friends. You got to know what you can say and can't say. The thing about streaming universities, you don't know everybody here. You might have accidentally done something that offended somebody.
Smaller creators watch established ones make these moments with friends, with people that they've built relationships with people that they've probably had conversations with about if this thing is okay. They see Rage pulling Lacey out of the scooter or creators insulting each other, and they copy that action. Because of the viral
I think the problem with it comes with that is that so many people see, like I said, this personality, right? I think you have to think that, okay, maybe this personality that's on stream is not the same that's off stream, right? But when you have so much of your life out there, right, you may believe that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why a lot of people struggle is because clip farming is essentially this lie, right? Is that okay, cool, you may, like I said, you may talk to another streamer and this other streamer like, hey, listen, we about to clip farm the flood, but it's about to happen. I'm not gonna tell you when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen, right? So I think a lot of people really do look at it in that aspect that okay, well, I see Lacey getting thrown around. I see him doing things to other people, you know what I'm saying, random, you know what I'm saying, because they're setting up a clip. They're setting up a clip. That's the problem is people are also looking at this clip as this is another form of, like you said, like just another form of action that should be taken, but you don't realize, well, an action has a consequence. And in order for that action to lead, or in order for that to be an action, something has to be done behind scenes, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. If that makes sense. So, like you said, for example, they know each other, at least they know each other enough, right? But the idea is that, well, they're setting up a clip. Let me get involved in that clip too. And that's the problem. And that's going to be the struggle if you look at it like that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's one of those days where it's like, ah, man, you look at it like, man, that's so difficult, and you start rapping and you start falling into those own delusions with your head. Well, I didn't do anything wrong. Other people do it. The other people do it. It's not that other people do it. It's that you see that that exacerbated moment so much, which would be the clips in the farms and stuff like that, and knowing that these are important things for you to do in order to, to garner some sort of success, that you're going to force that moment. You know what I'm saying? You're going to force that moment. I think we all secretly have sense in a form of, of understanding when something shouldn't be done and when something should be done. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those people that I guess, like, even me saying these things, right? I've said things where I didn't think I would have ever said that would have been necessarily the I guess the correct thing. But like I said, it's just me putting my personal opinion. I'm saying I am saying this live, you know what I'm saying? And I'm learning to understand that, sometimes you have to listen and actually and let the point get made first before anything happens. Obviously, you know, um, obviously, I didn't pause it here, you know what I'm saying? And this point's probably going to get made, or maybe not even get made, maybe even get disproved 100%. But I think it's one of those things where, and then also too, the last thing is too, just understanding a base function, you know what I'm saying? And I think this boils back into what I said before, that if you're established, it's a little bit easier, it's a little bit easier to do certain things than it is not to, you know what I'm saying? Um, but it's because you know them, you know what I'm saying? It's because you know them, and you gotta understand that some people allow you to get away with certain things and other people don't. So I think what the real big thing is that as an individual, you just have to continue moving how you would just generally move in real life. You know what I'm saying? If you see a whole bunch of people beating somebody in real life, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go and join them? Maybe some people will. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Then you're just one of those people who just don't give a fuck, right? But if you're seeing somebody, arguing, yelling like that, you know what I'm saying, and you decide to involve yourself, that's one of those things where you should expect a certain outcome, you know what I'm saying? Whether one, I'm joining this conversation to actually help them, or B, I'm joining this conversation because I want to get involved in that conversation. So
Morality of it all, but they don't understand that there's some sort of relationship behind it. Established creators have years of trial and error, trust, communication, things they've done behind closed doors that they will never tell, to make the understanding find that, hey, I'm okay with this, but not okay with that. And for the most part, the audience also understands that dynamic a little bit, but when a new creator copies that same action, it doesn't feel playful. It honestly feels invasive because the trust isn't established at all.
I think a really common issue with clip culture is that people see clips of people acting, I don't know why. Maybe how Ron is, but you have to understand Ron and Kai know each other and they both know that this is a joke. That does not mean that you can interact with a stranger or another streamer that you don't personally know with that same energy. I feel like there is so much clip farming that happens towards other people where you need to understand banter
we about to
only
go, buddy.
works between friends. You see Ray and Cinna, like, shoot shots at each other all the time. That's because they know each other and they both know that they're joking. It's funny to one another and it's funny to the audiences. If you go to Cinna and you just start insulting her out of nowhere, that's just rude. That's not funny. She doesn't know you. She doesn't know whether you mean it in a good way or bad way. She doesn't know what your intentions are. So I think maybe someone should do a class on that. Because I feel like we have normalized like clip farming to an extent where it gives people an excuse to just be mean for no reason.
So then you get into a situation like Stream University.
I don't think it's to be mean. I think it's just not understanding that they're, that like she said, there's established relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because you may not come off as trying to be disrespectful by grabbing somebody's shirt, and you may not be trying to become off disrespectful and then not realize, oh snap, what I did was in fact disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you apologize for that. Um, I think it does boil into what you said too, but I also think it's just understanding that, streamers are actually individuals as well. You know what I'm saying? There are still established, things and truths and reality. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want somebody grabbing, just everything's on camera, right? Everything's live, everything's happening. And it just boils back to this point. It's just because you see everything happening, you assume, and that's the problem. It's the assumptions. It's the assumptions that are happening. You know what I'm saying?
There's a room full of creators competing for these clips that they know will go viral. So now it's like a lighter next to gasoline. One disrespect started going viral and everyone had a reason to escalate.
I'm about to go see, I was about to go to the guidance counselor.
I bet, let's go.
Okay, but I don't know where he's at.
Why do you need counseling? Because I'm having a bad fucking day.
Yeah, I'm having a terrible day too.
How about worry about your own fucking problems?
Guys, come on, don't fight!
Who the fuck do you think you are? How about worry about your own problems,
I'll
buddy?
make you look stupid on this campus.
I don't give a fuck. All day I've been made stupid. I'm made to look stupid. All
Okay,
fucking day.
add
on top of it. Add on top of it. I don't care anymore, bro. What are you gonna do? Spit in my face? Do it.
No.
I've been getting spit on every fucking all day of the hour.
Where's the counselor at? You know where he's at or no?
No.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Bro, are you actually dead ass right now? Are you actually dead ass?
He'll figure it out.
He was giving off dickhead energy that whole time. He was giving off dickhead energy. At first, obviously, he wasn't forward. He wasn't spewing anything until things started getting said, things started getting done. Come here, buddy. Come here. You know what I'm saying? At first, because obviously he just wasn't spewing it. And then when he started doing it, I'm like, when I seen the second clip of it, I'm like, all right, you clearly involving yourself in some situation, and they're clearly trying to let you get involved. But like I said, again, that tap on the shoulder thing.
Are you
You know what
actually
I'm
dead
saying?
ass, bro?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
No, like, why are you acting like that towards me?
And
Don't
then he's
fuck
getting
with me right now.
defensive.
Like, you know, I'm trying to be nice to you. Like, we're friends. Don't even, no.
No, chat, yes, dead ass. This shit's real life. Like, niggas talking about I'm gonna bring my shooters. I'm like, bro.
And now we got to be careful too on another big thing is be careful who we call friends. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that we use this friend like, oh, what's good, twin? What's good, cousin? You know what I'm saying? We just met each other a week ago. The fuck are you talking about? Best friend. Best friend. I call 60 other people best friend. You know what I'm saying? That shit means nothing. That shit means nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think people have to start understanding that, you got to start laying them bounds with people like, yo, I know you, but I'm not your friend. You know what I'm saying? We're associates at that point. You know what I'm saying? We're associates in hell. That's if I even consider you one of those. You know what I'm saying? You're not just an individual that occupies the same space as me. Um, I think that's also very important to establish and understand because when you do that, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's just one of those things, her saying, we're friends, that's a danger, especially for somebody like that guy. That's a dangerous game to be playing because it's like at the end of the day, if he was your friend, that'd be okay. He's not your friend. He's just somebody who occupies space with you. You know what I'm saying? Or he could say he's an associate because she is actually streaming with the guy. It's not just like a one-off occasional thing. It seems like they are doing things together. You know what I'm saying? So
Nigga, we're content creators. What the fuck happened? It don't make no sense. I'm like, bro, we're all content creators. Nigga, we upload on YouTube, stream on YouTube, bro. We're not supposed to be no gangster shit.
Students watch these confrontational moments receive attention almost immediately. Think about it this way. You're a new up-and-coming creator. You don't know what to do. So if I disrespect Duke Dennis, Feared Buck is going to pick it up. And then after that, maybe Kick Champs picks it up. And then maybe after seeing multiple million view clips, a commentary channel like Cameron or Novely or Omizi or DH is going to pick me up and make an entire 16-minute video about me. And then people are going to react to that 16-minute video. And now we're in this endless cycle. The goal is no longer to create the best.
that is true. One other thing too, I want to state too, is that I think we've also lost that point in time where I notice over the years, negative attention nowadays is not just good negative attention, if you know what I mean, right? They always say bad, whether it's good or bad, it's always, you're still getting attention on the left. But I think people are starting to break that fine line of understanding exactly what is good content. I mean, what is actually good and bad at the same time. Where it's like, okay, I think, for example, I guess Neon is actually kind of a really good example of that. Or I guess a really good example of somebody who is just like who's knowing anything like you can't trust this guy. He's an asshole. He's this and that, right? Or not an asshole, right? Or how he perceives himself online, right? How he perceives himself online is that he's some guy that you can bully and stuff like that. But it's also been stated that Neon makes a few things like, hey, I'm going to be doing this, what I'm saying, I'm going to be doing this. But sometimes he amps it up, sometimes he amps it up. So he's known for negativity. He's known for negativity, you know what I'm saying? So either you're going to, so if you do involve yourself at this point, even if everybody knows that he's associated with negativity, if you do involve yourself with him, and then now you do something, and now that thing is just like, what are you doing? It's like this is what expected. This is expected at this point from Neon to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I've seen less of that where it's like bad attention actually equals okay, something I can gain success and views off of. Actually, no, even another example, Kai. I mean not Kai, Rakai. He Ludwig or not Ludwig, fuck, what's his name? Agent Agent literally just said, he's funny. He's funny, and maybe that's what Neon is. Maybe that's exactly what it is. It boils back down to that fine point is that he said you have to be funny. Do I think Neon's hilarious? Hell no. Do I think he's funny? No. I think he may say something that's fun. I think he does funny enough actions, like things around him could be funny, but I don't think he necessarily himself is actually funny. You know what I'm saying? Compared to Require, where I can actually maybe laugh and giggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this kid is actually he actually got a little bit of talent, you know what I'm saying, in terms of how funny he is, you know what I'm saying? You don't even realize it. So
Moment, but let me get a viral clip on top of a viral clip. Everyone begins interrupting the same creators, invading the same spaces, or escalating the same jokes. Hey, this worked on Ben the Don. Let me also do it because I know it works. People stopped approaching these established creators as potential collaborators and they began approaching them as possible clips. But while everyone was chasing the next viral moment in it all, they were ignoring the much bigger picture and opportunity that was right in front of them.
I'm warning a lot of people. In my opinion, I feel like I'm going to expel somebody today. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm going to expel somebody today because I have to now set an example to make people understand that there's a difference between making content and then disrespecting. You feel what I'm saying? So last night I kind of felt disrespected because I was honestly just trying to diffuse a lot of the situations. Yeah, I don't ever try to be, you know, the bad person to slow down everybody what they got.
trying to joke everything around.
I got shot in the eye yesterday, bro. After I got shot in my eye, you know, I'm gonna talk to Braden today, bro. I'm gonna talk to Braden today. I got shot in the eye. Nobody said sorry. Nobody said nothing. Nobody did anything.
Kaisenet began to feel like certain streamers and certain students were taking the situation for granted.
And that's why I tell people, you never have to worry. This is always going to be a recurring issue. Whether he starts at the next stream university or not, the only thing is, if Kai still doesn't accept that same example in the next university, the same thing is going to happen. That's why you never have to worry about this because people are always going to fall back into the same pattern. This is the majority. You guys are not just seeing, you guys are not just seeing when it comes to stream university. You're not just seeing, oh yeah, these are people who are exaggerating their trait. They're already the traits that they already have. You know what I'm saying? So, for likes and content, you know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. My bad, I'm over here patting my dog. That's the difference is, so now like I had to set an example. He was like, well, I didn't realize. I think he wanted to let people have fun because maybe he even felt like, maybe I am a little anal about how I am approaching this whole streaming universe thing. And he kind of fell back on his own judgment. And now I think now that he looks at it, he's like, well, nah, people are just fucking disrespectful as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really came here to garner any true success except maybe Sir Baby. Maybe there's a couple other people, but we haven't heard about them yet or haven't seen any videos on them yet. Um, and it's one of those things where now, he now has to feel like, all right, now I have to actually step in because nobody's going to be adults about it. You got to think, most of these people that are on fucking streamer usually are fucking adults. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying adults can't have fun, but there is a certain standard that you have to live up to no matter what the case is. You are an adult. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the older you are, those standards drop drastically. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the honest truth. You know what I'm saying? If you're 40 or 50, you end up with an 18, 19-year-old. I don't give a fuck how legal it is. You're weird as fuck. You're weird as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And there's no claim that you can make that says, "Oh my god, but they legal." What kind of loophole you talking about, dumbass? What kind of fucking loophole you talking about? It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's never going to be a good point. That's never going to be a good point, whether legal. You know what I'm saying? May hold up in court, but morality is, sometimes morality got to take over. You know what I'm saying? You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Gonna be honest with you. And clearly at that point, people escalated. That's why you never have to worry. Let Kai do the exact same next year. Nothing's going to improve. Nothing's going to improve. Either somebody's going to garner a lot of success or nobody's going to garner any success. You know what I'm saying? The successful ones are either going to gain a little bit more traction because they already have established platforms. They already have ideas and ways that they establish certain situations. Or B, there's going to be that one flower in the pot that is truly like, built up, really built up their success. In this case, Sir Baby, and like I said, maybe there might be one or two that I am unaware of that they still didn't just get their chance to blow up just yet. But it's just the honest truth. It's just the honest truth. That's why I don't move. That's why I move differently now because I've realized a long time ago that no matter what it is, no matter how many ideas I say or something, nobody's ever going to act on the shit. You know what I'm saying? Out of 1,000 people, one or two people are actually going to act on the shit that they actually say, or maybe one, out of 1,000 people, maybe 200. Look how drastic that is. About 80% already, right? If that's the right percentage, I don't fucking know. About 200 of them are actually going to maybe even consider, even think about the idea. And out of that 200, maybe one or two, maybe 1 to 5 people are actually going to actually act on it. that's how you should look at things. That's how things truly, that's how drastic those gaps are when it comes to things. It's like when you look at you can even break it down and then build it up from there. Street ball player, I mean a high school player to a college player to a street ball player to a professional NBA player. Those things are so steep. It's that different. It's that different. Adrian Boner too. Look at that. That nigga could still knock out damn near 90% of people, you know what I'm saying? And he hasn't done anything. And he's confident that because his skill is so deep and so big compared to the average person, even somebody that may be established, you don't realize, you know what I'm saying? People don't realize that these like these extremely high level people are high level for a reason. That's why you or many other people get upset and you don't even realize it because subconsciously you understand the work that went into achieving that success. That's why people get pissed off, like, why do you care so much? Well, I care because I seen somebody that was great literally destroy themselves. That's why people were, obviously Adrian Brody is just disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you look at it and like, man, you're drinking and stuff like that. And like, yeah, I understand that you're doing it because you have those, that high level champ success really got to you, you know what I'm saying? You have to live up to the standard of being like this guy, and then now that light is gone, you know what I'm saying? And that's painful. That is a very painful existence to deal with, you know what I'm saying? But he decided to double down on certain situations, you know what I'm saying? So when somebody like me who respects boxing, you know what I'm saying? I see that and I understand, like, yeah, I can understand, I can understand, to a small degree of what pain he is kind of going through, you know what I'm saying? Those voices that loss of the limelight, you know what I'm saying? But, also you got to understand that, success doesn't last long unless you maintain it. You have to maintain it, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you may not have the right people on your side to actually do that, you know what I'm saying? But then you hear Adrian, he's like, I became a millionaire 4 times or something like that. Lost, gained it, lost it, gained it, lost it, gained it, lost it. And it seemed like it's not that he doesn't care. It seemed like he's just kind of moving, he's just moving dumb because it's the easiest route, you know what I'm saying? And maybe there is a small hint of fear in him in trying to get back to that success because he knows deep down in himself, like, bro, if I get back to that success, I'm just gonna be forgotten again. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's the thing that you have to fix. You have to understand that you do get this, you got to maintain it, or B, you got to understand that the success won't last long. So enjoy it while you can. Enjoy it while you can. You guys never have to worry about, you guys never like you guys may see like, oh man, this person, a 16-year-old made $2.3 million in a day. Okay, that's one person out of billions, you know what I'm saying? We Online exacerbates those things, you know what I'm saying? And that's what online content is. It over exaggerates shit, you know? So you got to understand that's not the average person. You're still looking at a very small percentage. Somebody that's poor compared to somebody that may be middle class, compared to somebody that may be upper middle class, you got to understand in that small bracket alone, that gap is still quite huge. Even realizing, like, I've learned that I can't just keep gaining skills throughout my life and just progressively making more and more money. I realized there is a certain drop point where it's like you're going to stagnate at that for a while until you figure something out. Either A, you start making your money, investing, or you gain some skill set that is damn near elite. You know what I'm saying? Or you learn how to navigate within those things. You move, you make the right connections, and then you start garnering that more success, and you start gaining that money. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, even me saying this, I'm not worried because most people aren't going to do this. Most people aren't going to move the way I move. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many times I say it, because that inherent fear within yourself, just never going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to go anywhere. And the ones who think about it, they're just going to continue to think about it until maybe that those 5 people, now one of those people actually say, you know what? I'm actually going to join the other 2 who actually did it, and now I'm going to make that 3. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe out of those remaining 800, maybe like 3 people hop back into that 5 thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just the honest truth. Just the honest truth.
mattered because Stream University gave students the access to the most developed creators that they'll probably never receive again. They had professors, collaborators, viewers, large streamers surrounding them. And instead of, making storylines, being creative and funny, trying to add to the moment and build a sustaining audience afterwards, some students reduced the opportunity to finding the fastest way to provoke somebody bigger than them. And this is why this whole
that's the
situation
easiest. Like you
is
said, it's the
short-sighted.
easiest.
They could gain one viral clip while losing dozens of future collaborators. The short-term attention damaged the exact relationships Streamer University was supposed to help build. The Pebe and Mighty BA situation that happened at Streamer University encapsulates a bigger problem in the streaming culture. The university
And also too, and that's why I think it was an important thing why Ludwig got the best thing. He kept it real because he knows most of those people aren't doing anything about it. That's why he said most of you guys are shit. He's not saying exactly who, right? He's weeding out the weak. He's weeding out the 90%. He's weeding out the 90%. And yes, could it come off as disrespectful? No, but that's how you got to move. Sometimes you got to understand within yourself that sometimes the person shitting on you is not shitting on you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to listen. You got to listen. And that's the case. I don't think he was shitting on him. I don't think that's an aggressive way. But him saying most of you guys' content is ass. You know what I'm saying? Of course your first video is going to be bad. That's normal. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. If you're one of those people that make a great first video, perfect. I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? But that's not for the majority. And that's okay. That's okay. Everybody's going to have a bad video. You know what I'm saying? And one person that does, cool. They may not have another good video after that. Just start looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was cool of Ludwig to approach the way he did because, like I said, bro's already been established. He's seen people like y'all come and go. He's seen like people like y'all come and go. Even when that dude was in the hallway, I don't think we knew what to walk away because like, the best form of action was to be like, you know what? Hey, Ludwig, I apologize. I apologize. Thank you for telling me this. I will do better. Now I would try. I will do better, and walk away. You can even shake his hand too if you wanted to have a little bit more. If you want to have that millionaire connection, you know what I'm saying? Compared to and then but that's basically it. That's basically it. But he failed. He failed immediately. See how quick you can fail? He failed immediately. And when he said, "Well, anyway, this, whatever the fuck he said," and then Logo was like, "Okay, see ya. Tried helping you. It's no point of helping you now. It's the fuck's the point? Because you refuse it. You refuse to listen. You weren't listening. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Everybody in that class when he said y'all are shit, everybody was either really deeply hurt, and I can understand. You see somebody that's established. You're like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? And it can hurt. It can hurt. You know what I'm saying? Especially even if you hear somebody like, well, that guy's actually my favorite. He's his favorite now, right? He's his favorite now. He sees success in that person, but doesn't mean you can't garner that success. You know what I'm saying? So just the honest truth.
Gave them the opportunity to introduce themselves to a massive audience. Both chose disrespect as the fastest way to create attention. And technically it worked. They went viral. People discussed them. People learned their names. They got the videos. They got the clips. They got all this. People are talking about them to an extent. But the clips also revealed the weakness in building a career around other people's interactions. Pebe ended her Streamer University experience appearing more concerned about the backlash and the behavior that created. And now she's going to spend time at home that she could have been developing storylines that she had built on campus, defending her honor and her name, and may ultimately be reduced to the girl who pulled Lacey's leg. The Mighty BA spent most of his time at Streamer University making the same mistake, but eventually admitted that his own mentality may have ruined the opportunity. Now, this doesn't guarantee that BA will change, and it also doesn't mean that Pebe can never change. But the current conclusions give us a preview of where their careers could go. Now, I don't know how we solve the disrespect issue that's going on in streaming, because for the most part, we're at a place and space where everybody should know that, hey, it's okay for this person to do it. It's probably not okay if you do it because there's a gap there. We just don't know each other. And I don't know how many
that gap is
videos
quite big compared
or others can make to let people know that the life of being a nuisance or disrespectful streamer is not one that you want to live. It can actually land you not just on my channel, but in jail. But all in all, if I had to give a word of advice to these content creators that are up and coming, is that that disrespect is not a career. It's not something that provides longevity. It's not something that I would hitch my wagon to, because ultimately you get lost in the sauce and you no
Okay, I just
longer
gotta make sure.
become this
I'm about to go take my
person's
dog.
name. You no longer become the mighty BA. You no longer become Paybae. You ultimately become the girl who pulled Lacey's leg, or the guy who
Who ripped
ripped up the
Minecraft card?
card. And once you get boxed in like that, I think it'll be damn near impossible to come up out of.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like how today ended. This is a really productive day, at least for me, right? It's at least productive. Or at least productive in a sense that I enjoyed this, right? Because I learned something. I think you guys could also learn something, right? But one thing too, I want to say is that the difference, because everybody also could be looking at, like I said, Rakai and Rakai and who used to be Speed, right? I think people have to understand is that not even that, Speed was young, that was just naturally who Speed was at the time. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to do this shit for clips. He wasn't trying to do it for views. Yes, there were certain things that he did for, right? It's just is insane. Um, um, he was genuinely doing dumb shit because he was just a dumb guy at the time. You know what I'm saying? That's just shit that he did compared to a lot of these people who are either very self-aware or are so delusional that a lot of that stuff that they are doing and that they are trying to do is just because, hey, well, this is going to pull the most views. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm almost certain I never really watched of any of his old videos of like of Speed, you know what I'm saying? But I can say that from what I can tell and from how I feel, is that that was genuinely just who bro was. You know what I'm saying? Yes, a lot of people are dickheads, but Stream was also funny too. Kind of boils back into that thing. He was also funny. You know what I'm saying? To at least a larger portion of people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people are just dickheads. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. That's the problem. And and people don't realize that, people don't realize that. And the ones who do, they're just gonna like, well, I'm either gonna double down or I don't know what to do because this is just me. This is just me. And I'm saying, well, you can change. You know what I'm saying? Simple start, apology. You know what I'm saying? Apology. That's you changing for the better, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you're going to taper off because people no longer are seeing you for that dickhead side or that side that you now present. But you can move, you can maneuver, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, I've realized there's not really much you can say to help everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people don't want to be helped. And also sometimes it's easier to stay within that shell. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to stay within that shell because when you come out that shell and you immediately get punched or stabbed, you're like, why the fuck would I come back out? That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Or even worse. You know what I'm saying? So, but I always think that even if you came out your shell and then literally the next day, you know, you died. You died, you know what I'm saying? Yes, it's unfortunate, but I think if you can like you die and you're like, well, I at least tried. I at least tried and it failed. And it fucking sucks and it got me killed, you know what I'm saying? Even if it was something simple as just you leaving your house and walking, you know what I'm saying? I still think that person, even though unfortunately, yes, they did pass, I still think that person died being who they were and actually trying to be better. And I think that is more, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it is difficult because we all want to live through success, you know what I'm saying? We want to live through success. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to become a millionaire at 80 because you want to live your young years having sex, fucking spending that money, you know what I'm saying? And I understand. I understand, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, be happy that you achieved it now. You achieved it now. Help somebody that you can now live on through, you know what I'm saying? Or not live on through, but you can now let that person know, like, hey, if you had a kid or something like that, or you had like somebody that you really respect, like, hey, man, I want you to have this. And when you see yourself, when you can see that young that could have been within that person, you can die peacefully. You know what I'm saying? It's such a like I said, the world is confusing, you know what I'm saying? The world is confusing. And like I said, things are so much brighter to me, you know what I'm saying? But there is also dark patches, you know what I'm saying? I sometimes don't see things. And like I said, I am not just doing this thing to, just make the money too, but I like as I'm doing these stream things, I'm learning things, you know what I'm saying? I'm learning things, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's still kind of, it's still scary to the sense because I'm like, well, I'm learning all this, but am I actually hearing the right information? Am I hearing the right information? And when that information is presented to me, am I going to be able to utilize that information? Right. And that's sometimes that's what also scares me, right? Am I able to now utilize some of this information that is being given to me? Not even within a reasonable amount of time, but am I just able to utilize it? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing because I'm on this path of growth, and sometimes I don't want to stop growing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to stop growing. I understand that small things lead up to a lot of big things. You know what I'm saying? That's why my many failures allow me to do the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't know when I get 1,000 people. I can say I'm gonna let these things roll off my shoulder, but let somebody say my shit is ass. You ugly as fuck. You smell like shit or whatever. Who knows? Whatever fuck anybody decide to say. You know what I'm saying? You're not intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Are these things that are going to break me? I don't know. I don't know until I actually get to that thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm doing. I'm working my way up. Gonna learn. Gonna figure it out. Um, but yeah, I like both of these videos. I like both of these videos because where's that? This one and this one. Because I think they both show, and even just hearing another person who's also trying to gain, and even just seeing this, I think when you have this right here, right? I said I think it's great to see that that there really is some truth behind to what people say. Sometimes you do actually need that one big hit, and that big hit may take a long time. Up to that point, you're going to give up. You're going to give up. You know what I'm saying? And this right here, and then showing that you never have to worry. You never have to worry. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you have time, but you never have to worry the fact that, if you're in the room, assume that most of those people in there aren't going to do anything that you're probably going to do. Say assume that if you're the one who's like, I'm actually going to do this, and you actually start doing it, just assume those people aren't going to do that thing. They're just going to follow you. That's why you see so many people that are like, that's why you see like these big people that start these established things, and you start seeing the lesser versions start to come off. You know what I'm saying? That's why they never achieve or never grow from anything big like that, because they're just mere imitations, not even the perfect copy. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm never worried, because at the end of the day, when I do achieve that, when I do garner that success that I want, there's going to be copies of me, and those copies are never going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much they try to imitate me, they're not going to be me. They're not going to have the mindset that I have. They're not going to be established, and then eventually they're going to taper off because they realize it's not worth what it's working to. So, and that's the honest truth. So, um, and same thing, I didn't see, but I do know based off from what they're telling you, you know what I'm saying? They could give all this information because you're not going to follow it. You're not. You're not going to follow it. It's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we're living, you know what I'm saying? Um, I like days like this. Like I said, I like days like this because I just enjoy, like I said, it goes to show how much I still really do just enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? I am now, I can now live, I can now honestly talk to an audience without actually talking to myself. I can now let this information spill, you know what I'm saying? And I love that, you know what I'm saying? I love that. So, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, well, I think the biggest thing too is to say from somebody like me, am I scared of the future? No, I am scared that I'm capable of those things that I am progressively getting closer and closer to, and that I won't utilize it to the max. You know what I'm saying? I won't actually utilize those resources that was given to me, not because I got comfortable, but because I missed this important piece, you know what I'm saying? To the point where it was too late, you know what I'm saying? And and like I said, I think that time will come. The time will come. I don't know. It could come today, it could come tomorrow, come next year, it could come next in a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? But the best thing I know is that I've already been on this path. None of this is changing me. It's just proven to me that I'm on the right move. You know what I'm saying? Now I just got to start actually. I got to actually start maintaining that thing and actually start doing better at that thing that I so ultimately want. You know what I'm saying? And I think I know what I want. I think I know what I want. Um, but I don't know. I don't know until, I don't, I think I have a feeling, but that's just a feeling at the end of the day until that thing starts becoming a reality. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's still, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy this, you know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoy this, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, I can't wait to have a couple people in my chat, spewing bullshit and shit, and you know what I'm saying? Like, man, ban his ass, you know what I'm saying? Mods, get that fuck out of here, man. Get that fuck out of here. Matter of fact, unban him, then ban that motherfucker again. Fuck, nigga. What is we talk about? Long ass stream today, man. Long ass stream today, but I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna try and do more of this? Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. But other than that, hope you guys have a great day, man. As always, respect to Agmeezy. Agmeezy, beautiful chocolate man, chocolate boy. You know what I'm saying? Little chocolate man. I'm sorry. Oh man, I don't give a fuck, man. Hold on, let's guys go support Bro's Patreon, man. Go support Bro's Patreon. Go support his Patreon, right? And then look, man, he even shows how much he makes a month, bro. That's a blessing. People, that's a blessing to be able to see that, you know what I'm saying? Guys, appreciate that. Love that, man. That is honesty, man. And that's a honest, this is a level of honesty that you would be afraid of because you don't want people that like it's right there. There you go. There you go, man. He's just being himself. He's being himself, man. But a good human at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Ah! Blackface. You know what I'm saying? Um, let me actually do this right. Let me do this right because I think I watched a lot of his videos, so I think it'd be cool if I at least respected him by at least garnering some traffic to bros thing. So, matter of fact, maybe I'll try and start doing that more. Of more people that I actually view, I'm actually trying to start linking their things in the description, and I'll try and put it at the top. If I forget, please remind me, and I will try to start doing that. But you know what I'm saying. But like constant grind, man. Constant grind, man. All right. Nonetheless, love you guys, man. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. Hope you guys smell good, eat good, taste good. Oh my God, feel good, bro. Hope you guys fucking feel good, man. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I gotta go into work early tomorrow, but we only got a week left. We got a week left, motherfucker. We need to forward. We start that motherfucking new job, pussies. I'm gonna try and go out on a day that I can and go get me a motherfucking laptop so I can start streaming. What is you talking about, man? What is you talking about? What are you talking about? What is you talking about? Try to get me a good laptop too, because obviously I ain't just gonna use this motherfucker for streaming. It's gonna be some other shit. Porn, fucking pirated shit, bro. I don't give a fuck. I'm lying, people. I'm lying. No, I'm out. I'm out. All right, love you guys.